Okay, we are live. Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 164. Just going to cue some music and check out the intro, make sure it's all working. We got Robert from UK joining us tonight. Let's see, is it playing music? You won't hear it, John. Robert. I said John. Sounds good here. Going through the intro. It's actually working a wee bit better than it normally has actually. Google hasn't stuffed up. Although I'm not too sure how the volume's coming out the other end. Hopefully it's all right levels. Hello! Good to be back. So yeah, good to be back with another live stream. Hopefully this will be an interesting one. And I'll just pause that. And switch to the desktop. Let's see. Are you there, John? I mean, Robert. Hello, are you still there? Can't hear you. Where you gone?
Hey, Paul.
Oh, right, yeah, there. Did you mute yourself? Are you still there? I can't hear you.
I'm here.
Okay, say hello to everybody, and I'll just type up a little message.
I'm here, Paul.
Okay.
No.
What? You should be watching it on Discord, not on YouTube. Robert.
Yeah. Hello, guys. I'm here, Paul.
I think you got your YouTube running at the same time.
There's a big time delay.
There will be a 20-second time delay if you're on YouTube. You should be listening through Discord, not YouTube thing. Just mute your YouTube.
Okay, is that better?
Yep. So can you hear me in real time now?
I think so.
Can you see my screen on Discord? So you should be looking at the Discord window.
I am indeed.
Okay, so good.
It's all good.
Okay, cool. So we got two watching. That's probably you and me. I'm not sure if anyone else is out there. But yeah, we'll be talking about some stuff we found out about Bob and Corbells movie. And also we'll be looking at Secureteam and third phase UFO claims again. So I'll open up the browser for that. But we'll talk about Bob first, I suppose, the movie. And anything you want to add to it?
Yeah.
I should re-edit my my couple of live sessions I did and just condense it down to just the Bob debunk I did. So I'll probably do that in the weekend or next week. That's what I was doing last episode. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, I did a episode here called Pasca. How do you say that name? Let's see.
Oh, you mean Pascagoula, the abduction there?
Yeah,
Pascagoula. It's Carmen Parker.
Yes, people may not have seen it yet, but I put it up late last night, so there it is here. It's actually got a really clear interview on this one compared to my other two that I did, where he's talking to Dr. Hardy, or Harder,
Yeah.
Dr. Harder, and also we get an interview with the sheriff as well at the end there. So yeah, go and have a listen to that. 34 minutes long, and I've got some more interviews to put up on that particular UFO incident, and a Dr. Hynek interview. So I'll be doing that also next week, hopefully, and have that one up as well. What I've done is I've tried to improve the audio. It's a bit hissy off tapes, cassette tapes and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'll just check the audio here on this live at the moment. Just make sure everything's going. Go and have a listen to that. Right, I forgot to redirect it. Long, and I've got some more interviews to put up on that particular UFO incident, and a Dr. Hynek interview. So I'll be doing that also next week, hopefully, and have that one up as well. That's great. What I've done is I've tried to improve the audio. It's a bit hissy. We need a like there, cassette tapes and all that sort of stuff. Someone needs to come on and like our session that we're going to do. I guess we might have a few people come on later on. Might be a bit too early in the morning over there in Europe or something.
No, not at all.
What's the time now? It's 10:30 here.
Yeah, but of course people are working in Europe this time, you know, so maybe don't have the time to listen to, you know, these things. So
yeah, true.
Yeah, maybe 8 p.m. our time. Everyone's finished work, start to relax, and yeah.
Oh well, they can always watch it later. So yeah, let's figure out which screen we look at first here. Let's have a look. I did a couple of captures. Here we go. This one here, another Kiwi from New Zealand. Kiwi Bonga. He's the person that's noticed the timestamps in the movie with the raid that was going on the mobile phone was actually way off. And so I looked a bit deeper at it and got some screen snapshots. So what it says here, I just watched the parts of the movie where the raid happens. The shots of the text from Bob Lazar saying FBI raid now are time-stamped August the 25th at 8 p.m. So the phone sequence was shot a little over a month after the actual raid, which was July the 19th, 9 a.m. to noon. I don't believe the date is mentioned in the movie, but after that part where Bob Lazar makes his insurance video, it does say the next day Bob was raided by the FBI again. This is an issue because the warrant was issued on or before July the 17th and executed on July the 19th, meaning it was already going to happen before the sensitive conversation occurred on the movie. Remember, they sort of met up in a wooded area, and he says he's going to encrypt it and timestamp it, and he fast forwards through so you can't hear what's actually said. But as soon as he asks the question, have you actually got element 115, he seems to get something out of his pocket, like a tin, and then it fast forwards, doesn't it? Was that correct? So,
it's pure theatre.
So you reckon that was staged, and it didn't happen, and they weren't listening?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the thing. So I can't play the movie, obviously, but we've got the warrant here. I managed to get a copy of the warrant for the raid, and sure enough, if you scroll in so we can read it, it says Wednesday the 19th, 2017, occurred between, says 800 here, Wednesday to 9:30 Wednesday. So they arrived there between 8 and 9:30. Maybe they all arrived at different times, I don't know. Different units to inspect the place, maybe. It's got Robert Scott Lazar And it actually gives us street address here, right? So this come out on Black Vault. Black Vault did a Freedom of Information, and it's posted on his website. So obviously they didn't think hiding his street address here was important, but they did black out other people's names here, the officer names. And guess what? It wasn't anything to do with finding stolen 115 element from Area 51, but it says down here RO was also advised. What's RO? RO. What's that short for? Any idea what RO stands for?
Well, okay, let's have a look.
RO, right. RO. I'm just trying to think. Reticent occupation or something. Well, it does say RO, which will be Lazar, was advised.
Could be, is it oh no, it's not resident address.
No.
Okay.
Something officer, maybe? Something officer, maybe?
I have no idea.
Resident/officer was also advised that this investigation started at Walton, MI, in regards to a homicide investigation involving poison. So this is a cold case that happened a few years ago.
Yeah.
That we found out since, where he used, what was the element that he bought from the store?
Element what? Oh, right, yeah. Okay, what they were looking for was Thallium.
Thallium. Not Valium.
TH.
Not Valium, like the sleeping.
Oh, not
Thallium
no,
is...
not Valium.
What's Thallium? Is it a radioactive substance?
Yeah, it's deadly in the right form. Of course, they did find Thallium because he was dealing in it.
Yeah.
And he was a previous, I believe, this guy that was under investigation was a previous employee or at least a customer of Lazar. Yep. Hence, they raided his property. And of course, as we know,
yep.
Lazar had a previous criminal record.
Yeah. He had a few things, didn't he? That we did.
Yes.
We looked at on a live previously. Are we getting your recording okay here? Yeah. What was the things he got done for again?
Oh, one was a prostitution racket.
That was after, though, when he went to TV.
Yeah, okay. There was another case where he was exporting drugs into a state that did not allow.
Yeah.
The guy deals in... excuse me. The guy deals in dangerous chemicals and radioactive stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So not every state will allow that in. No. So I don't know. It was either a gross oversight on his behalf, or it was a genuine mistake. You make your mind up.
Yep.
But the guy ain't no snowflake.
No, and plus there's also reports that he fled Vegas to get away from people he owed money to. Well, I don't know who the people were, but it was friends and family were one section of people. Where he had like a bouncer dude that was tracking him down, a headhunter for repo man or whatever they call him over there, to get the money back that he might have borrowed. Who knows? But he fled to California, wasn't it? And that's where he claimed.
Tell you what, Paul, I'd love to get those guys on here.
The people that were debt collectors, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he went to California, and that's where he did the MIT course that he claimed to do a degree, wasn't it? But the interesting thing is, Earl told me that he's got a mate that used to see him walking along the road, Bob Lazar, in California, and used to offer him a lift to MIT. So he used to drop him off at MIT. So we know Stanton Freeman found no official records or any like a yearbook or photographs of him being in the university. You'd think if you went
Yeah.
to a course with college people, right, that you would have like a gathering photograph. You know, people would say, "Come here, we've got to do thing before you leave for the year or for holidays and get a snapshot." You know, everyone does selfies. Even back in those days, they would have done something. You know, even if it was an old camera. So yeah, even I show you my certificates I got when I done my 2 degrees, 4-year degrees, and I got things hanging up on the wall. You know, the certificates that I got. You know, and I got photocopies and I got digital copies stored on various hard drives and encrypted or whatever. You know, so why hasn't Bob Lazar got all that if he went to MIT? So it's kind of strange, but we can sort of write that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just to add to that, if you don't mind. Okay, the guy does not remember a single name of anyone who shared his class. He does not remember a single name of any lecturer, teacher. He does not remember even what year he went. I'm sorry, but that is pure bullshit.
Yeah, even I can remember. So the thing is, he may have snuck in the back, right? He may have enrolled into a arts course or something, and so he had like a ID, and he could sneak in the back and just illegally study the course material.
No, but the MIT don't do arts classes. It began as engineering, and it progressed to
Well, he would have done.
engineering and
He would have
science.
booked into some
It doesn't do
course.
arts.
Yeah, I think he would have booked into some course to be able to get entry. I would have thought, but maybe back in those days they didn't actually check your IDs, and you could just certainly walk in. What you can do at my university, you can simply walk into any university lecture and sit in anyone you want to, because you're allowed to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
of course
but Paul,
they have
the only
guests.
evidence anywhere was his name in a phone book in Los Alamos. That's it.
Yeah, so there are some things that validate that he was there. We know he was there, contracted to do what, we don't know, but obviously to do something to do with maybe a service engineer of some sort, like electrical, fixing light bulbs, replacing light bulbs. Who knows? He may had some limited access on the Area 51 base there as a maintenance engineer. Who knows?
That's plausible.
So we know there's stuff there that validates him being there, but people remember seeing him in staff room. Well, if you worked there as a cleaner, you'll still be invited into the lunchroom. So yeah, it's still.
Yeah, but these people have validated his claim. Who are they?
Yeah, and of course we saw the Corbell Bob interview with Joe Rogan, which was really shocking, and. So maybe we'll talk more about this later, but we'll just go through this movie bit first, and then we'll get into that stuff in a minute to sum it up again. So first of all, we want to see if this guy was right about this date being the 25th. So I've got the calendar here for August 2018, the 25th. Was definitely on a Saturday, as you can see there on the chart. So what was the thing I saw about 2017 though? Did he mention 2017? Can't see. I thought I saw 2017 mentioned. But they did film it in 2018, didn't they? And it was available at Christmas time, wasn't it? So this kind of makes sense. This kind
it was
of
late. Yeah, it was late 2018. Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes sense that they were filming in July and August. So that's not too suspicious. But was that meeting after the raid or before the raid? We don't know. But the strange thing is, He did the intro on the start here with the phone. Now I've got some images here that you can see from the movie. And FBI raid now. That's correct, but if you go in further, you can see here it says 17, Saturday, which wasn't the raid, because we just saw the FBI document that said it was Wednesday the 19th. So we know that's not right.
Oh dear.
So why didn't they edit that in the movie properly, thinking that people weren't going to see it? So what I did is I managed to get a better image. Was that the better one? Now we can see the time on this one, because he's angled the phone, because you can see it's really a bit blurry. But how come he would leave that there, not put Wednesday 9 AM, right? That's really bad oversight. So there was another one. On the front screen, which I've rotated around, it was actually landscape, right? It says Wednesday the 19th of July, 5 o'clock. 5 PM, not 9 AM, where the raid was happening. So, but here we also see on the messages that's dated 25th of August, 8:01 PM there, and it's got the ZAR here, and it says the word raid down the bottom here. See that? It says raid. 25th of August, 8 o'clock. And yet it says the phone clock is Wednesday the 19th, 5 o'clock, and we know the raid happened at 9:30 AM. So what a mess. Now what else we got down here? I can't quite read that one. Nest. 6:25, 8:25.
Witness.
Witness.
Your camera spotted someone.
Your camera has spotted this.
Let's have a look. Can't really see date stamp on that one.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to see. It says like 2, maybe
There
7.
you go.
7:56 PM. That's what it looks like. Or it could be a 1. I think the angle's for a 7 though. Could be a 2. Pretty blurry, isn't it? It's not the best footage.
Yeah. So, that's good enough.
And we got witness, and we got Lazar down here, FBI. So this was clearly a reenactment, and you think they would have done a better job editing those things on the screen. So how hard would it be to even put it in through your own editing software like Vegas Pro, and simply edit these labels to be the correct times and dates? It's kind of sloppy, but also it's kind of
lazy.
It's kind of suspicious though, because it was reenacted a month after the raid. But I was trying to look for other clues in the movie. I don't think there was any more phone snapshots. He was talking to him outside his shop at the scene, where he's talking about the raid. What was this one here? Let's see, what's that one? Here's a close-up. FBI raid, Saturday, 8 o'clock, 1 PM. And we know that's not true. It fits the time for the 25th of August, as we saw on the calendar. So yeah, that was all the images I took. So I just think that should be pointed out to people, that pretty bad video editing job. And of course they were claiming on let's see if we can bring it up. They were claiming on what was it, what's that guy name, King, what's his name, they were saying that
Larry King,
yeah, that's him. They were saying that that they were raided because they're looking for element 115, which is not true.
Yeah.
Let's see. Larry King, Corbell, Bob. I'll see if I can play a wee bit of it, maybe, or I can skim through it. Let's have a look. Videos. Let's see. 2 minutes. I'll just probably that one there, is it? So the Corbell, I think.
Is the government watching you, Bob?
Oh, here we go. Is it Corbells? Yeah, Jeremy Corbell's channel.
Oh God, it's the Muppet Show.
Yep. And I'll just put captions on. And just play a clip of under fair use. So the question is from Larry, is the government watching you, Bob?
I didn't think they were after 30 years, but you know, due to recent events, I would probably change.
What happened?
Jeremy and I had a private conversation out in a remote area of my
Pretty
property.
low down.
Cell phones in our pockets, but turned off, all filmed, and filming it. And Jeremy was down there to film some of this documentary. He left the following morning, and simultaneously there was an FBI raid at my place of
Raid?
business. Yeah.
Looking for what?
Well, they said they were looking for some receipts from an individual that might have bought some toxic material from the company. But they came with more people than you could really think would even fit in our building. I mean, agency after agency, you know, computer experts pulling information off the computers. And
What do you think they were there for?
well, what do you think, Jeremy?
They were able to repeat back verbatim a portion of the conversation that we thought was private, and that shocked us because we were joking that nobody even cared 30 years later what he says. But apparently it's not as it appears. There were 25, 27 forensic agents with a truck there for paperwork. I don't know. We don't really care. We just know now that our conversations are not private.
What, FBI, what about this is a crime?
They're looking for some of the fuel from the craft that might have been stolen.
Element 115 was always something Bob said fueled the craft, a stable version. And to be direct, which Bob is being direct right now, they were looking to see if he had any of that taken out of Los Alamos where they machined it, which he did say back in 1989 or so that he did get some out to do tests on.
Never miss a beat. Subscribe to Larry King now and watch.
Okay, so I think that was a wee bit too low, but it might come out on the live stream all right. But
it was fine. I could use it.
yeah, it's a bit low though for that one for some reason. But yeah, he said they were listening to their phone chats, right? So we haven't actually seen that that documentation where they can prove that. So what is he talking about there? Why hasn't he put that up on the web saying, well, this is what the FBI gave us, and they said, here's a chat that we had. I just think they're just BSing the whole time, these two.
Yeah, I know, and you can see that Lazar is looking for Corbell for help, basically. Please help me, Mr. Jedney. Yeah, because I'm bullshitting and I'm in trouble. So, you carry on with your spiel, and I'll go with it.
Yep. This sort of smirk.
That's what it's
you
about.
You can see he's got a bit of a smirk there. See that? Lion.
I know.
Yeah, look how cocky he looks here. He looks a bit uncomfortable.
But do you know what? That smirk, a couple of friends picked up on this, and they have no interest in UFOs or aliens or anything, but they picked up on that smirk. Not on this particular interview, but in several of his interviews.
Yeah, he's got a smirk. And Larry King doesn't seem to be too impressed on that image there. Unfortunately, you want to see him straight on. Remember that eye chart where you can work out when people are lying? So if they're right-handed,
yes,
and they're looking down or to the left or upwards to the right, or looking to the right because they're right-handed, means they're actually fabricating the story. If they start looking
I
over
mean,
this,
I don't read too much into that psychobabble myself, but yeah, I mean, it's fair enough.
yeah, you can
I
see
mean,
they're both
everything.
holding their arms here. What was Ben Hansen saying in body language when people feel uncomfortable? They have to put their hands on their body because it sort of calms them down. You can see he looks downwards, right? He always looks downwards when he's thinking. And which way is he looking here?
An individual that might have bought some toxic material.
So if he was recording memory, there you go, he's looking to the left, which means he's recalling a memory, and which is then he talks about
Receipts from an individual that.
So you look this way, which means they're recalling a memory, which is about the receipts, and then he tells Larry King. So you can actually see that in the body language there.
That might have bought some toxic material from the company, but they came with more people than you could really think would even fit in our building. I mean, agency after agency.
You can see then he looked left again, which means he was accessing a memory in his brain. You see, he looked there saying there's more people come in, so that's obviously a truth.
The computer experts pulling information off the computers, and
What do you think they were there for?
well, what do you think, Jeremy?
Look, well, straight away, he doesn't want to answer that. He turns it straight to Corbell, right?
That's what I was
They
saying.
were able to repeat back verbatim a portion of the conversation that we thought was private, and that shocked us because we were joking that
This
nobody even cared.
is not just a lie; it's a planned lie. I think that's completely obvious.
But apparently, it's not.
You know, if you can't see it, I'm sorry. Move on.
Yeah.
527 forensic agents with a truck there for paperwork. I don't know. We don't really care. We just know now that our conversations are not private.
What, FBI, what about this as a crime?
They're looking for some of the fuel from the craft that might have been stolen.
Element
Now, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall while Corbell and Lazar were organising this, which is basically a criminal act
Looking for some of the fuel from the
against
craft.
humanity.
Element 115 was always something Bob
You know,
said fueled the
there's
crime.
plenty of good evidence for UFOs and alien visitation without this bullshit.
So we got someone joining us. SK
That's-
side.
Yeah, that's good.
Someone from India, I take it. How's it going? So yeah, we've just been going over the era in Corbell's movie about the FBI raids, and I thought I'd bring up the Larry King interview so we could actually see how their body languages and eye movements are. You can see looking down all the time though. What did that eye chart say about looking down? I don't know if I got it handy or not. Let's see. What can you remember what it was called?
Sure, Paul, but that could be a sign of just being nervous, you know, looking down, or maybe getting your thoughts together.
It's called neuro programming, NLP. It's called eye accessing, right? Let's have a look. How to know when someone's thinking. Okay, so we got this little chart here. So visual construction means he's making it up. If he's looking over here, remembering, visual remembering, looking over here, audio remembering. So when he was looking over this way, he was actually thinking, oh, the FBI were there to blah blah blah. And if he looks right, he's actually making up stuff. But have we got looking down? Not really. It's either left or right there by the looks. Directly to the left, left to the down, move down and to the right.
Yeah, I think the lockdown movement is generally when you're regretting what you've done,
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a kind of turned up posture where you're just saying, okay, I done it, my fault, please forgive.
Yeah.
And
So
that and Lazar.
So that's I'll post that link there if people want to have a look at that. Anyway, it's quite fascinating trying to analyze body language, though. Body lingo. Well, when I think about stuff, I do actually look upwards to the left, like chart says. It sort of works for me, so I don't know why it wouldn't work for them. They both look very vexed, insulted, angry. Something must have happened backstage before the show. It's possible, and they may have had an argument. A message retracted. What happened there? I wasn't watching. Did you swear at me? What on Mars? How's it going? So we've got a couple of people watching.
Hey guys.
You just missed what we were saying about the movie. But there was a... I'll just bring it up here. Again, since you missed it, you see his clock is set to 5 PM and the FBI raid happened on Wednesday the 19th of July, but it happened before then. It happened between 9:30 and noon, or 12 o'clock lunchtime. So why didn't he correct that on his phone? Why has he got the wrong time on his phone for his movie sequence there? And as you can see here, messages from Bob Lazar is dated the 25th of August, 8 PM. So why didn't he edit that also in the movie intro? And you can see here it says raid at the bottom here. Right, raid, FBI raid. So so that's what we were talking about, that gross error in the movie. Bob Lazar, what's it called? Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers. So yeah, we got the warrant here that actually proves that they weren't looking for element at all, but they were looking for a poison involved in a cold case homicide from someone that actually worked there or bought chemical from there.
We know now that that poison was thallium.
Yeah, and it also has like a chemical trace signature on it. So every place that receives the poison to use it in their business, they can be tracked to whoever through DNA forensics, or I don't know if you call it DNA, but spectro analysis or whatever. They can work out what premises actually bought it. They can track it.
Yeah, it's toxicology.
Yeah, so if they found the poison at someone's house and they run it through a spectrogram, and then they look up a chart where they sold it to, each person's going to be different that sells it. So yeah, what is that substance was what we're going to look at too. Just close that one down. So the poison was thallium.
Thallium, yeah.
L-U...
Yeah.
And what's it used for? Let's find out.
Should be an I there somewhere.
Double L.
That's it.
And
yeah, it's a double L. It's a clue there.
What is it? It looks like a piece of rock.
Yeah.
Multicolored
the
rock.
bit you need to be looking at is highly toxic, Paul.
Okay, it's a soft, malleable grey metal that was previously widely used in rat poisons and insecticides. Thallium itself and compounds containing the element are highly toxic. It is particularly dangerous because compounds containing thallium are colourless, odourless, and tasteless. So yeah, you slip it into someone's coffee or tea, and bingo, they're gone. So yeah. So why would they be selling it at his place? Used for? Must be more. We know it's rat poison, but
Yeah, I've dealt with rat poison.
How's it affect the body?
And
It can affect your nervous
Thallium is a pretty
system.
high grade rat poison.
It can affect your heart, liver, kidneys, blah blah blah. It won't kill you. What's it used for though? Why is it toxic?
I need to type in thallium poisoning effects.
What is it used for in manufacturing or something?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I don't know. I don't want to know why they would be selling it on his premises. That's what I want to know. It's used for making.
I'm sure it has legitimate uses.
Yeah, I'm just going to find out.
It could be pest control.
Yep, it
could well be pest control.
It's used for making low melting point special glass for highly reflective lenses. Thallium salts are used as a reagent in chemical research. So it sounds like it's used for radioactive enrichment or something, is it? Let's see. Let's go to this one here. So I want to know why they would have it in the store. So obviously it's got to be used for stuff they make up to sell, I'd say. Supply risk, what's that say? Temperature data, resources. Well, that doesn't really help us much, does it? Uses, maybe that one. What's that say? Got really small print here. Soft white metal.
Soft silvery white metal.
Thallium sulfate was
tarnishes easily.
Employed in rodent killer. Used by electronics industry in photoelectric cells. Oh, there you go. Was he making some solar panels to sell in the shop? Thallium oxide is used to produce special glass with high index of refraction and low melting point glass that becomes fluid at 125 Kelvin. The alloy of mercury contains 8% thallium, has a melting point 20 degrees Celsius lower than mercury. This can be used in low temperature thermometers and switches. So maybe
thermometers, yeah.
Thermometers, yeah. So maybe he was using it to make other products to sell. I don't know if you've ever seen his web store, but we'll go there. United Nuclear. So this is how he makes his living. That's why he can say that he doesn't want money from the movie. United Nuclear Limited, I think.
I think anyone that believes he's not getting a backhander out of this movie is delusional.
Yeah, it'll be done a certain way, wouldn't it? So it doesn't show up on his taxes or whatever. But
you got it.
You know that special premiere they had,
Yeah.
which had how many people show up? But they made about $30,000, I think, from what I worked out from the Secureteams.
Okay.
Yeah. And Bob got $2,000 of it apparently, and he gave it away to. He claims he gave it away to a high school for their research and science or something.
Surprised he didn't give it out to those prostitutes he was abusing. Anyways.
Yeah, so this must be his website here. Scientific equipment. What do we got down here side here? Hey Justin, how's it going? This is great. So I have some of this, but what do you think Bob's motive for lying? I'm very skeptical of his story, by the way. Just wondering if you guys covered this before I joined. No.
Justin, I think you make a very good point there. What was his motivation for lying in the first place? My instinct is the guy's a sociopath, and I think that Yeah, and I think his original intent was to make money.
Yeah, I will.
It went a bit pear shaped
I will add
when
to that.
he got caught out by the likes of Stanton Friedman
Yep.
in the 90s. Now he's been reinvented by another crook that's called Jeremy Corbell. And it's making money again. And it split the UFO community in half again. Yeah, and we're having the same old arguments now that we had in the 90s. Yeah. So this, it's had its desired effect. And could it be disinformation? Yes, possibly. Maybe that was the original motive for Online Justin. I don't really know the answer to that question, but I'm just hazarding a guess that maybe it was disinformation and that was his motive.
Okay, I'll give my 2 cents to it. I believe we know that a person was dropping them off at MIT. He was studying for his own use, but he wasn't actually involved, and he didn't enrolled into the MIT program. He was sneaking in the back and obviously taking notes and learning for his own self-interest, and so he didn't get a qualification out of it. So he's not going to be listed anywhere. Thing is just a nerdy guy that snuck in the back and studied, because someone claims through ill that they were dropping him off because they felt sorry for him walking to the university. But Stanton proved that he didn't go there, not officially, but doesn't mean that he wasn't actually doing it on the sly.
Yeah, attending the lectures.
So we've actually also got documents that prove that he was at Alamos, or whatever it's called, working for, what's that company? EG&G? Is that the place? Or was it AG&G? EG&G. Electrical something rather. Which was a
which coincides with the Wilson leak.
Yeah, which was subcontracting people to Area 51 to work on various projects. His speciality was a particle accelerator. He has one at United Nuclear Workshop here, and it also has on his CV and also in newspapers mentioned that he was doing particle acceleration as well as rocket engines and all that sort of stuff. So all that's been verified. There was a phone book with his name from Area 51. Was it Area 51? Where was the phone book entry from?
Los Alamos.
Oh yeah, right. It was from there, was it? Which proved he was actually employed there. But what happened was he heard that they were doing experiments out in the desert over a lunch hour. Overheard what they were talking about. He knew what time they were going to do it, so he decided to prank some of his friends, like is he a doctor? Well, John Lear, the famous pilot's son.
Oh, John Lear.
John Lear, was he?
Yeah, he's a kook.
He's the son of the John Lear plane inventor. I can't remember what his father's name. Robert, was it? Robert Lear.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know John was actually a pilot, and kudos for him for that.
John Lear and someone else went out to the desert with them, and they watched these experiments on a Wednesday night. Now, he thought that was pretty cool. He was saying there were UFOs and all that sort of stuff. But it could have been any sort of other experiment that was happening. It could have been like a particle beam laser test or firing a maybe a balloon in the sky that they lit off and it was illuminating it or whatever. It could have even been a drone. They probably did have some crude drones back in those days that maybe were controlled by a piece of wire rather than radio, which would fly upwards and just hover, and they would use it as like a targeting platform, and they could zip it around the sky. That makes more sense. It could also have been that they had a kite, which they sort of aimed the particle beam at it, and were doing some measurements, and also they could have been seeing if it could be used as a radar signal blocking, so to work on active cloak and camouflage. So it could have been an experiment to do with that rather than to do with anything to do with UFOs. And of course they got caught by a security guard doing patrol on the third night that they went out in the desert, third week I think it was. And he had to hand over his ID, and straight away he knew he was in trouble because he had broken his NDA, taken out people there in the desert to watch a classified experiment, right? So he knew he was going to go to prison. So what does he do? He goes straight to George Knapp and starts leaking out all the information. So he becomes a hot potato, too hot to touch, because if they arrested him and stuck him in jail, everyone would say, there you go, he was talking the truth. So he was hoping that he wasn't going to be arrested, and that's probably what happened, because he hasn't been arrested, right? So, and he got a phone call from one person that he knew inside where he worked there, saying, you've done it now, they're going to throw the book at you, which obviously didn't happen. What was the guy's name? I can't remember.
Yeah, whoa. Stop here now. How do we know that a phone call took place?
Well, we don't. But I think the guy got interviewed by Corbell, was it? Or George Knapp, or someone like that. And
But what's his name?
I can't remember now. But there was some talk about this phone call.
Is there even a name?
I think
Can we do a back count?
I think he mentioned it on Joe Rogan. Some other scientist that's well known, basically. But anyway, I'm not sure where that information comes from, whether it comes from Corbell, Bob, or Knapp, or from some other source. But apparently that's what happened. But obviously he didn't go to jail, so that's the reason why he would lie about it, to stay out of prison, pretty much, for the rest of his life, right? So
yeah, it's go public.
Yeah. So after that, they had to change Area 51. You might recall, because before then, people didn't know about Area 51, so they didn't have any need to have high security fences and stuff. They just thought it was an Air Force base where military were doing the usual things out there in the desert, bombing test runs and plane maintenance or whatever, you know. So what happened is they then got security guards, and they also got the extra land grab. They did more land grab, where they cordoned off the mountains and more of the desert around the base, so people couldn't actually go and actually see these experiments being taken place. We did cover it in another live. There was a guy called Mohud, MAH00D, Mohud. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. What was his first name? But I went through the article and his research, and also he claims that he used to walk around Pasco Lake, where S4 was meant to be, and he said there was no one arresting him, and there was no high security. If there was going to be like hidden Air Force hangars there in the mountainside, he said he saw nothing like that, and he used to do a lot of tramping around and actually around the desert there looking for UFO stuff and whatnot. And also he knows other friends that also used to sit on the mountainside looking over to Area 51 there and S4 and all that sort of stuff, and then never saw any of that sort of activity with the hangars doors being open and planes being coming out of them, or UFOs coming out of them. So the whole story seems a bit wishy-washy. I will try and re-edit that live stream and make it into a more condensed 1 hour thing, and I'll put it up next week probably when I get some time to edit.
Yeah, Paul, can I just say the actual name for Area 51 is kind of, it's stuck now. It stands the test of time.
Yeah.
We all know what it is, but the actual name is Homey Airport. and Groom Lake.
Yeah, it was named because there's a
So
chunk of
Area 51 doesn't exist,
on,
as such.
on the map. It's cordoned up into areas, area 40, 41, so on, 52, and all that sort of business. And of course, this Air Force base was smack in the middle of Area 51, so that's where it got the name from. And S4 stands for Section 4, I think, was it?
Yeah, would do, yeah.
I think it was something like that. Then Lloyd just keeps growing, and he has kept it up going. Yep. Well, now he's obviously making Corbell very rich from it, and Nap from it. And of course, they probably waited long enough. Probably Nap's plan is to sit on the information, all the interviews he did, and then turn it into a documentary, because he was always going to make it into a documentary. But I don't know how George Knapp could interview all these people and claim to be like a TV reporter and still being paid as a reporter while he's interviewing these people without conflict of interest, because those interviews are really owned by the TV company who are paying him to go out and interview people, right? But he was collecting all this stuff on the side, Skinwalker Ranch and all that, and turned it into a book and also a movie. So it seems to me like a double standard there, conflict of interest as they call it. So
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I think George Knapp was more seduced.
so we'll just catch up.
I don't think Knapp seen the guy as a cash cow. I'm 1000% sure that Jeremy Corbell seen Lazar as a cash cow.
Now we'll read out some of the side comments now. Anyway, so What on Mars has said Lazar may be under control. Yes, that's what a lot of conspiracy people say. There's something of some bullshit in his general way, like someone under hypnosis with a compartment mind. So that's always been the conspiracy side of things, that he was used for a disinformation agent, which Robert touched on, which is a possibility. So he may have been hired as like a outside scientist that had radical thinking, although he had no qualifications. So they took him on because he was recommended as a good fix-it type guy for this EG&G place. And he went to Area 51, and they may have thrown the book at him, which has all the information about UFOs and alien autopsies and all that sort of stuff in the book, and how the craft worked. And it may have been all fabrication, or it may have been parts of fabrication in the book that he read, and they may have sat on it to see what he'd do with the information, whether he could be a trusted source. So they may have just given him information, but it may have been fictitious to some degree, or all fictitious, is the other thinking, and maybe hoping that he was actually going to leak it to people like Knapp, so it was used as disinformation, or they may have just wanted to see whether he's going to leak it, knowing that it wasn't actually real information that they had on the real craft itself, and then they could actually then arrest him, put him in jail, or cut him off the project or whatever. So that's a possibility as well. But I more think it's because he got caught, because he was taking people out to the desert. So if he was given all this information, right, clearly he didn't leak it out to anybody until he got caught, and then they realised, oh, right, we're giving him this book, so he may have said something to John Lear about it. Well, it was in the book, right? So, because he's saying the UFOs that they're seen in the sky. So straight away they knew they had to arrest him under NDA stuff, right? So But it's a good way to test someone. You know, feed them some information that you claim is correct, been corrected by scientists, and see what he does with it for 3 months. And if he looks like he's an honest sort, he's not going to leak it out to the public. Then you go and give him the real book of information and say, well, this is actually how the UFOs actually work. The other book was a fictitious test one. So let's just carry down on the comments here. Please, can someone actually like the stream here so we can see the counters working? Thanks. So what else he's saying here? I'll just zoom out a wee bit. Then lie just keeps growing. Safe face, yep. Or that is the act and probably likes the attention. Yep, could be as well. Sleepwalker, yes, could be. Not skinwalker. So that's all we got the comments on the side there at the moment. Yeah, so we got one like. Let's see if this updates. In the meantime, we'll have a look at his site here. We've got radioactive ore, right? So let's have a look what they're selling. Now you can see straight away this website looks like it was written by a high school kid back in the 90s. It looks terrible layout, color scheme, very hard to read. So we got Iranian ore fragments, $12. Bulk uranium ore assortment, £5, $150. So that's where he's going to make his money on this sort of stuff. Turbinite, uranium night, and it goes on and on and on here. Hey, we got 2 likes all of a sudden. Cool, thank you guys. And let's go back a page and have a look. So he sells a lot of meters, I understand. So there should be a section here on meters. Where is it? Miscellaneous nuclear radiation detection. Here we go. Probably sells a lot of these. People that want to, you know, preppers so that have bunkers and all that sort of stuff. Probably want a radiation detection device. And these are quite expensive, as you can see. Now you can get a similar one to this one here from AliExpress for $50, and he's selling it for $150 here. Radon gas detector and alpha radioscope. But is that the one that goes click click click? Makes a click click sound. Hang it on your front of on a necklace in front of people. That's $29, so that's the cheapest. So yeah, there are some other meters.
Does he have anything that says kill your wife?
No, I was just trying to see if they sold the chemicals, but I can't see anything. We've got crystals here, crystal radios, solar power. So it could be to do with that. As we read, that chemical was used to make solar cells. But you'd think you'd just buy those from in bulk from AliExpress, right, or somewhere like that, China, and then put a markup price to sell it internally. High-powered solar cell, $4.50. Whether he makes it himself,
you know, maybe it might pay to look a bit closer into that court case where he was, you know, selling stuff into a state where it wasn't legal to
I think there was
import.
Just because he sells a lot of gunpowder or fireworks, pyrotechnics. I don't know.
If that's right. Yeah,
it's pyrotechnics.
I don't think.
And he was, of course, that's classed as a bomb material making, right? So people could buy a lot of pyrotechnics.
Absolutely. Yeah, in age of terrorism, you'd understand that.
Torches and burners. Can't see anything saying pyrotechnics though. But we know he did actually do a lot of parties out in the desert where they fired off machine guns, and also set off these fireworks. I'll post the link so people can have a look at his website, even though I shouldn't really promote his site. It doesn't really matter. you people can go and have a look yourself, see what's there. Glow in the dark stuff here. So let's have a look at that one. Is it coming up? Sure, clicked on it. It's not going. I know he sells glow in the dark gift packs of soap, and you could get glow in the dark paint. Imagine painting your room a green and it glows in the dark. Here we go. Ultra glow paint. Here you go. $14. You got a blue one or you got a green one. And then we got this one here, sample pack. So we got different colors here. Got a red one as well, by the looks of it, and different shades of green and blue. And what else we got?
Oh, this is interesting. But what does it have to do with UFOs?
Oh, this is to do with Bob.
Should move on.
This is how he
I
makes his
think we
money.
should move on.
Yeah, I will move on.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
of course.
Oh, here we go. Here's the soaps. $7.50. And it's got the letters of the periodic table. Okay, so anyway, enough on Bob's his own business. But you can see why that would be a novelty thing, where people want to buy old-fashioned crystal radios. They want to get into, or they want to buy a meter for their prepping, or they might want to buy a voltmeter and stuff like that. He has it all on that website there. So yeah, what was the other stuff we were going to talk about Bob? Joe Rogan, you want to talk about him? You want to say anything else about Bob?
Yeah, okay. The Rogan interview was a little bit of a surprise because at one stage he had him down on a deck, and you know, he took his foot off the throat, and there was a previous interview. Sorry, not previous. A later interview with Rogan, and Rogan explained that basically he was more for believing Lazar than he was for not. And you know, that's why he kind of let him off the hook. He had him in all kinds of trouble there. Yeah, he was in a mess.
The thing I noticed that
off.
he had a headache, right? And he was looking on
the so-called migraine. Yeah.
And you notice he moved it to the right side of his head. He's hurting, and he's putting his hand over the. I'm not sure if he can play it at all without getting copyright infringement.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, Paul.
I'll just bring it up and just step through it maybe without playing it as such. Oh, that's going to the wrong place, isn't it? I'll just pause it there. Can we open it up or not? Normally have a place to open it. I wanted the non-podcast one. Hang on, I'll just get back out of that one. Let's see. Powerful. So it's on their own website, that one. Where's that one going? Same place. Let's see. We'll see if we can find the YouTube. There's the YouTube one. I think. Just go to that. Turn the subs on. So straight away he's looking to the to the right, which body language that we're talking about means that he's trying to make up something. So what's that one? Really uneventful first day. And you can see he's always looking down, right? So he always looks down. You can see Rogan's really watching him here with Hawkeye. So he's looking at the body language too, I think. And what's he doing there? He's pissing his lips together. Remember what Ben Hansen was saying in that analysis he did of the president? I can't quite see which way he's looking, but it looks like he might be looking down this way. So squeezing lips together is a sign of stress, I think Ben Hansen said. Looking down again. Looking straight at him. Looking to the right. Which if he looked to the left, he would be recalling memory, according to that eye chart. See, again, he's looking over to Corbell, I think, over here. Which is not good. He needed Corbell over the other side, so if he was looking over this way, we know he would actually be making up stuff.
Please help. Please help.
Yeah. And whereabouts does he get a headache? When it started getting interesting halfway through, didn't it?
Paul, he got the headache as soon as he couldn't answer the questions.
Yeah. It got more interesting halfway through when it was actually narrowing it. Rogan was actually narrowing it right down, asking him really detailed questions. And there was something about the alien bodies too that you said, Robert. What was that about the alien bodies?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. In his original claims, and this is important now, for anyone who out there who may still believe Lazar's claim, this is quite important. He claimed that he was invited in to see an alien autopsy, and they were his words. And these were little guys, and he was there. He watched. Yeah. Now he changed that. Big time changed it. To he was peeping into a room as he was coming down the corridor to leave, and he just happened to look, and there was a little lady in the chair. Alien in the chair, yeah, and then he turned it to, oh, they must have just been using the model and they were fitting it to see how it measured up. I mean, if that doesn't tell you something, then, you know, there's alarm bells going off all over the place for me. It don't add up at all. And for anyone who thinks, yeah, this guy has never changed his story, well, think again. Look back at the old footage of his original interviews and look back at what he's saying now. Chalk and cheese.
Yeah, I was just trying to find what reference that alien autopsy was mentioned. Bob's alien autopsies. It looks like it might be there.
Yeah.
PDF.
See, the thing is, Paul, yeah, these groups are so, you know, these people are so compartmentalized that, you know, if I was working on, you know, some super duper bike that could go into space, but let's say, for example, now you were working on the wheel and I was working on the handlebars, then there's no way I could tell you how the handlebars are going, or you could tell me otherwise, because that's the way it is. But yet they left this window open where you could just see through. I mean, it's just complete and utter shite.
Yeah, it does seem a bit strange, doesn't it? That he's walking through a hallway and he sees.
Talk about stuff like that.
Yeah, it was, he saw a doll on a chair or something that he claims now. So yeah, I'm just trying to find, is there any reference online about this autopsy change in his story? Whereabouts did you read about it? Was it in a particular book, or was it a particular video?
Yeah, it was an old footage, you know.
Old footage video interview from what, NAP?
I don't know, I'm not really sure now. Oh God, I'll try and find it.
Yeah. People might want to read that to see for themselves. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, of course.
It's hard to know if it's in any of these sublinks here, though. Let's see. Bob Lazar claims a mismatch, maybe. So we've got a Reddit post here. Eric Davis, you remember that guy in the recent Wilson leaks? Lazar made up his entire cockamamie story. So there's a good article there from Joe, UFO Joe. So that's Davis here. So he goes on saying he was never exposed to any classified information. So we could post that link there from Joe's site for people to have a read.
Well, I'm just noticing now, that all the Lazar stuff from his previous 90s escapades have kind of disappeared. And all you get now is Corbell and Lazar, plus Rogan and Lazar, but none of his earlier stuff. So, I don't know what Google are doing with this.
Yep.
Found one older one here.
One out of every.
Yeah. Just trying to find pretty much some key points about it. But with Bob Lazar, there's a lot of reading and a lot of documentaries. So we've got even Art Bell in the mix here, coast to coast. So what they're saying here, when Bob Lazar thought he was going to be, I probably shouldn't say this, but I will go ahead. When Bob thought he was going to be taken out, he had this particle accelerator in his house, and he had this container with element 115 in it right in front of it, and he was ready to flip the switch and say goodbye to Las Vegas, I think. Bell, oh my god. Nap, I don't know that was a dramatic gesture or what it was, but thank God he didn't do it. Bell, I never heard this. Yeah, well, it's not a pretty picture. Eric Davis, nobody can put a particle accelerator in their home unless the house or their entire property is dozens of square miles in size. Well, that's true, because if you look at CERN, it has a quite a big ring, has a small ring and a big ring, so they speed up the particle in the small one. Well, it might have a couple of small ones, so it goes from one small ring to the next size up, and then goes to the really big one. Then they crash it together. Element first got synthesized by the Russians in 2003 and was internationally labeled and recognized as element 115, named Musconium in December 2015. 4 isotopes, half-life ranging in 37 milliseconds to 600 milliseconds. So it's impossible for Lazar to have Muscoviite isotope in his house, nor the gigantic particle accelerator that produced via the collisions. So that's a point. Particle accelerator. What's the smallest particle accelerator? I think, though, that there were hobbyists that actually built particle accelerator tours. Build the world's smallest particle accelerator. Have we got a picture of it? No picture.
Yeah, you know what, Paul? It's time to move on from this now. Wasting too much time on this idiot.
Yeah. It's just interesting though. Particle
Yeah,
accelerator.
sure.
2000.
It's interesting, but maybe not interesting to people are looking in.
Well, we've got to just see if that claim is true. But what is the smallest one they say here? 27 kilometers. That's a large hydrogen. Now, what's the smallest? Kilometers long. So the smallest ones are still kilometers long. So he's going to have a big property. So even Art Bell had a big property, and there's no way he could have probably had a particle accelerator, but he had lots of antennas.
Let's
Yeah, well, there we
party.
go. And apparently, Lazar had one in his garden.
Yeah. Okay. Bob Lazar's particle accelerators. Here's his own particle accelerator. You can see there's a Reddit thing here, above top secret. So what are they saying? 2010. You can see this story goes back a way. So we might just post a link to that bit as well. Let's see if we can match up some lies. But I'm not sure if we can find anything quickly here. Not interested, but I guess people can buy ex-military property. However, his hydrogen thing is not going to work too well. He says you can top up your own tank. Solar panels. So what are they talking about there? So yeah. There's a lot of reading, as you can see. I thought you might have had a picture of it somewhere. Well, that's the thing that was a bit disappointing with Corbell's documentary, I thought. I thought we were going to see a lot of this sort of stuff that sort of backed up a lot of his claims, right? So, oh, here's Bob's particle accelerator. Let's see how it works, and just put that in a documentary and say, well, that proves that he must have known what he was doing, blah, blah, blah. Bob's particle accelerator. I can't see any pictures of it. And of course, Dolan, he actually believes lists, doesn't he?
I think he holds a bit of a torch for him, yes.
Yep. So there's no pictures of his so-called homemade particle accelerator. Or is that here?
I don't even know why we are doing this now. It's 2019. This guy was thoroughly debunked in the 90s, and we are still talking about it now. Get over it.
Well, we were talking about it because a lot of new...
He's not worth mentioning at our time.
I know he's not, but a lot of new young people are now just hearing about Bob Lazar for the first time, right? We're old hats.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So new people tuning in don't know the full background and all the lies that have happened. So go and do the research there. Like we're doing.
It kind of upsets me, though. It really does. And I'm passionate about this, and it's a reality. I'm not some kind of stupid debunker.
Yeah.
It's just seeing this be invented again. In the second decade of the 21st century, and people believing it all over again. You know, it's just a little bit. Profiteers like Corbell, you know, using well, the likes of Lazar's cash cow. And I'm afraid that's what ufology is all about. They eat their own foot. You know, finding the wheat from the chaff is not an easy, you know, not an easy task, to be honest. But yeah, it is out there, guys, and this is a good channel to listen to.
I'm just laughing at his face here. Look at that. He looks like something. He looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. Watch out, Corbell. Your beard might catch fire from the lies. God might shoot a lightning bolt down and set you on fire, mate. Yeah, I'm just trying to find the thing where he sort of pretends he's got a headache when the questions get hard. Can't remember whereabouts it was. It wasn't that far in, I don't think.
And you know, I think this that the whole interview was premeditated. You know, because there was some questions that I would have asked, but hey,
Yeah.
you know, that guy didn't ask. So yeah.
I just can't seem to find that.
Rogan's normally pretty ruthless, you know.
Well, the thing is, Corbell jumped in there and changed the whole direction of the interview when it got too hard for Bob. Did you notice that? And he started talking about To the Stars and all that sort of stuff. And totally, he took it away from where Rogan was just pinning him down into the real nitty-gritty stuff, and it got taken away. So this guy is better to lock him outside when you got Bob for interview, right? Because we would have got a lot more information, and we would have maybe seen some holes in his explanations come through better.
Basically, Corbell was Lazar's little support worker, psychiatric nurse.
Yeah. Whereabouts did he get a headache, though? I just can't seem to pin it. He puts his head down there.
It's the bit when he starts lying.
Well, that's from scratch, that is. Even that laughing down the side there about our Lord of the Rings comment, by the sounds of it there.
Good.
Here on this channel, we don't suck up to people. We just call it as spades, you know.
Yeah.
We call a spade a black.
We don't charge for bonus material.
And you don't have to be a patron subscriber. Although I probably could do with the money the same as everybody else, but yeah, everything's always going to be free on this channel. Yeah, I think it was here somewhere, wasn't it? Come on, Bob. He almost slaps his head on the table when he gets a headache.
That's bonus material. We'll have to charge for that one.
I just can't find it. It must be at a certain minute range. Like, skimming through it.
It's okay. We can do it in the next one.
I can't listen.
I'll go through it, you know.
I'll probably get a copyright infringement from Joe Rogan. Yeah, how much does this guy make per month? $1 million?
Well,
yeah,
you know, he's pretty okay guy, but
maybe,
yeah, he fell short on this one.
Anyway, we can't find that spot in it. Yeah, someone down the side likes the honesty. Yeah, that's good, Justin, because that's all you're going to get here. So move on from Lazar now, you reckon? Anything else we need to sum up there before we move on? I did analyze his old videotape. There was some strangeness I found in it. It's funny how the back of the car had spotlights, so it's kind of almost matched if you did it right in the darkness of the night. If you had the truck far away on a hill, that you could actually simulate a UFO in the sky, right? with those handy cams. So yeah, I'm a wee bit suspect of their footage. Back in those days, the technology on camera was pretty bad, and even if you could zoom onto a star in the sky, apparently it turns into a diamond shape, and you can just move it around, and it actually looks like it's moving around on the sky where they zoom in. So yeah, some people have done experiments with it and pointed that out, how easy it was to make with the handy cams. Probably something we should have else said, but we covered the lies about the FBI raid and what they were looking for. Why would he lie? The other thing I covered was about gravitational waves. There's a place called LIGO, which claims to have measured gravity waves from a colliding black hole, I think it was, or two galaxies. Maybe it was two galaxies. And if gravity waves are so hard to detect, right, using these really sensitive LIGO detectors, which are basically like earthquake detector in a sense, it can detect a slight movement of half a neutron atom, particle, I mean, not atom, and that's pretty fine adjustment, right? So how can you rule out it being artificially detected from Earth movement of the Earth with earthquakes and all that? I personally feel that the results of detecting stuff is actually not correct. I think that they're picking up some other input, like some movement that they haven't taken into account. Even a gust.
There was some organisation, I'm not sure if it was SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. I'm not sure if it was that, but it was some kind of thing that was looking out to space, and they got a false reading.
Yep.
They thought it was alien life. It actually came from the microwave oven that was
in the building.
Was heating up the pie.
Yep. Yeah. Is that the WOW signal you're talking about? Was it the WOW signal one?
It could be. It could be that one. I'm not really sure, Paul.
Yeah, I've heard.
So I won't comment
of the
unless I'm
microwave.
sure.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of this gravity wave detection. They got one in South Pole, Antarctica, where they claimed they had detected dark matter and gravity waves and all that, and it turned out they had to backtrack and say, yeah, the conclusion was false. They actually hadn't taken into account something in the experiment. I think it was space dust or something like that. But LIGO have only detected a couple of gravitational waves in the lifetime of the facility, from what I understand anyway. And if UFOs were flying all around using gravitational waves, this would be like a voltmeter going to the maximum range all the time as a UFO flew overhead, right? It would be sending the waves directly down onto the buildings as they flew overhead. It would be just going way off the rocket, and it would be in the news saying, well, look, we got the biggest reading ever, and it broke our meter scale, right? Blah, blah, blah. So if they were testing if they're testing UFOs at S4, right, even the gravitational waves are even going to go through the planet from the UFO, and they're going to detect it at some point on this apparatus that they've got set up, which is like a couple of miles long, I believe, a bit like a particle accelerator, and it's got laser beams that go along it, and they can detect very fine movements. So yeah.
Sure.
So I think his science there is bogus, and even if the science is not detected gravitational waves and it's all errors, that proves that there's no gravitational waves really. That was just the idea that they exist in the universe, and gravitational waves might be just a bogus science idea that doesn't exist at all, which means that the UFOs can't possibly be using gravitational waves. So I talk about this in that other live stream that I did. So that's the other thing we'll point out there. So that even if the gravitational waves exist or don't exist, it still gets rid of his stupid story of how the UFOs stay hovering, right? The other thing is, if I bring up the editor here, he talked about how the UFOs travel. So I'll just get a UFO. Let's see, that one I'll do for a UFO, I suppose. Turn it around. Oh. I was trying to grab that there. I need to rotate. Okay, so we've got a UFO. Need it bigger though. Here's a UFO, and underneath are 3 pods.
Okay.
So we need to draw 3 pods, which are like little cones, like that there.
Yes. So, exactly where was this from?
Oh, this is how he draws the UFOs. So this is how he explains how the gravitational waves are produced using these pods underneath the UFO, like that. And there's 3 of them.
Yeah. Of course, they can turn 180 degrees, as he said.
Well, 180, yeah. And they can transmit waves, of course, from these cones or pods underneath here. So it stays hovering, right? And if they have dripped them all down, it sort of wiggles and wobbles around. And inside, in the middle here, is the reactor with the element 115.
Yeah, an antimatter reactor, according to Lazar.
Yep. And the side effect is it releases gravitational waves, which then they funnel down to these things here. Which is a lot of BS. But he said when it travels, this is the problem with this idea, that it angles the feet, which is what he talks about, these pods, in the direction that it wants to travel. So if we grab all of that, yeah, can I rotate it with that? So he says when it wants to move along, it flips like that and moves in the direction it's going. Okay, if that's the case, if it's lifting in the direction that these things are traveling, that means the UFO would have to be upside down to be floating, because that's going against gravity. It's lifting upwards, right? It can't be going this way, because that means it would be sucked back down to the ground. And he says that in the Rogan interview, if you go and have a listen to it, if you haven't listened to it. So
Yeah, he does.
To me, that debunks his whole idea of how the UFO works, because it means it would have to be up.
Science has never worked, Paul.
The science that he explained and how it hovers would have to be like that, upside down UFO, which is this bloke.
Did you also notice how Rogan got in touch with 8 physicists? Not Rogan, I'm sorry, Corbell.
Corbell, yeah.
Got in touch with 8 physicists, and they all confirmed that element 115 was a genuine power source, but he failed to name one of them.
Yes. We're supposed we could look it up. Element 115.
Oh God, no! Leave this guy alone.
Yeah, I guess we'll move on to the other debunks. But I'm just wanted to point that one out there. To be that way he was explaining it to, it moves the cones in the direction that it wants to move. So that case, it means it's hovering around the wrong way. So they're not actually repelling, they're actually attracting. Because that's attracting, right? Doesn't make sense what he was explaining to Joe. But Joe sucked it up. He actually believes Bob Lazar, doesn't he? So we'll just close that down, I guess, and move on to the next bit. I'll leave that running in the background, maybe.
Are we covering Pascagoula today?
Sorry?
Are we covering the Pascagoula incident? Calvin Parker?
No, but I did cover that at the beginning there, talking about that new episode I made with the interviews.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can talk about it if you want, and then I'll do the debunks.
Oh no, I mean, I just don't like to be negative all the time. It's just that the Pascagoula incident is a very good case. It's far better than the Travis Walton case.
Yes.
You can pick holes in that one, but I do honestly think that Calvin Parker was sincere and genuine in what he believed to have happened, and I think that's a classic case of alien visitation and abduction.
Yeah, we have pointed out Travis Walton's story. Well, I've looked at it, and apparently they were going to lose their lumbering contract. I'll just put in Travis Walton so you know who we're talking about. He goes a lot to these conventions.
Yeah.
Walton. Get some images up of him. This guy here. Apparently, well, we'll just recap the story. Apparently, the day that he got abducted, they were cutting some trees down, and he apparently was sick, and he was saying he was laying back at the truck up the road from where they were cutting down, being sick, and there was a claim that he was working all the time, and he wasn't. He was actually in the truck. I think it's on above top secret. I pointed it out last night to Roberts, and I said there was ample opportunity for him to sneak off and set up a helium balloon above a pine tree, right, with some lights in it, like Christmas lights or whatever, and also run it off a car battery or truck battery, which have plenty of juice to run lights for a short time, and just have it ready, sitting there, ready for them to go home late at night. They said that was the only time they ever been working past 4 p.m. that night. So it was very strange that Travis wasn't around to help out like they usually do, and they got to 2 hours behind schedule cutting down the lumber. And the other guy, the driver of the truck, also apparently disappeared. So 2 of them were missing. So obviously these 2 were sitting up, possibly a what do you call it, staged event, and had a spotlight that had a filter on it, which made a blue light come down. And simply when they finished their job and got into the truck, the other guys didn't know what was going on. There was 6 of them. There was Travis, and what was the other guy's name? Mike Rogers or something like that, was the driver. And the 4 other guys, I can't remember what their names were, but they were in the back seats. And of course, the driver drives on the left side, not the right side like they do in UK. So he had to actually lean over and look through the window to see where Travis had gone, because Travis jumped out the passenger's side, started approaching a UFO. Who actually does that, How many people jump out and suddenly approach a UFO, not scared of it, whether they're going to get radiation poisoning or whatever. But Travis did, apparently, and he walked up and suddenly there was a beam of light. So he could have set up like a switch on the ground, stepped on it, which turned on the spotlight, hit a beam at him, and simply just jumped into the air backwards and landed down on the ground. And then the guy in the truck takes off while Trevor gets up and starts packing up all the stuff before they come back. So if it's a helium balloon, they could easily have deflated that, and they pulled all the lights and the battery stuck at the back of another truck, and he would have taken off to pretend he was abducted. So there is, if you go through the whole story, there is a case there where it could have been, the whole thing could have been fabricated. Now, there's been other evidence to suggest that it actually happened, because they said the tree rings actually grew faster where they claimed that the UFO was, but I've heard the counter claims to that, saying that other trees in the area also had accelerated growth, right? They just took a sample close around to where the spot was, which could be anything related to extra water, extra sunlight and all that, that makes the trees grow faster. It may have been couple or 3 years where they had extra heat in summer or whatever, where the trees developed very fast. So that's not really good evidence at all. And also there's been some other gaps in the story of Travis, and everyone thinks he's the most credible one because he passed a lie detector test, and I did a live, I think it's live 49 on Travis Walton, where he did a...
It's gone back.
Yeah, it's going back a fair way now, where he did a live show to try and win $100,000. And they asked him, the last question was a tricky one on the UFO stuff, which he actually didn't pass, and he didn't actually win the $100,000, but he had answered other questions prior to it. They're supposed to show as
No, wait there. Yeah, he was on a win-win, because he walked away. Even after failing, he walked away with $25,000,
which was a lot back in those days.
Which is not a bad day's work.
Yes.
And I also noticed one thing. I'm not an expert on body language, but it was pretty obvious. The guy, when he was asked that question, he was taking... You can look back on it yourselves, guys. Yeah, look back on it. He's taking deep breaths. He's trying to calm himself to fool the detector.
Yeah. There are techniques to fool the detectors. So really, there are two guys that got lie detector tests that may have had to practice defeating a lie detector test. Was Travis and this Mike Rogers guys. But the 4 others were pranked as well. They were just in the back observing what was happening. To them, it looked like a real UFO and all that, if it was set up, right? And of course, the guy takes off with them, and they're all panicking. Go, 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 get away quick, you know? Because they thought they were going to be killed by a laser beam, because they've been watching a lot of sci-fis, you know, like, what's that, War of the Worlds, where the laser beam comes down and people catch fire. So they thought maybe he got killed that way. And then they drove a few miles away, and eventually a guy stops and says, oh, maybe we should go back and check on him. And of course, it's all gone, right? So, but again, if it was all set up with a helium balloon with some light and spotlights and all that sort of stuff, it could easily be done with a truck battery, and had the ute, or the truck, what they called back in those days, a forward truck. Maybe even camouflage, and maybe had a canvas in the background and just simply tapped it straight off the car engine even, you know. So yeah, they may have practiced it, right? But the thing is, wasn't the wife or family not really concerned that he was disappeared for how many days was it? Was the other thing? But
It's the best part of the week, wasn't it?
Yeah, and of course, when he got dropped off, the aliens were kind enough to drop him off near a shop that had a phone outside.
Phone box, yeah.
Yeah, normally UFOs drop you back in the spot they abduct you from, so he should have been left out miles out into the forest where he had to walk back into the city.
Yeah, and not to forget, they fed him with some very human food as well.
Yeah. So yeah, we won't go
because
too
he
much.
had no signs of weight loss.
We won't go too much in that, because I'd like to sort of prep all the web pages and put it all together for people properly. But yeah, I'm very skeptical of Travis, but you'll find that a lot of these guys in MUFON that go to these Congress conferences, or Alien Con being the key word there, and they all think he's telling the truth. I think even Ben Hansen, the FBI guy that does lie detecting, thinks Travis is the most credible abductee case. But I just wonder how much he knows about all the other things that were involved. And they also knew back in that time that Inquiry was after UFO stories, and they would pay $5,000 each, which is a lot of money back in those days. That's like a year's salary probably. To anyone that had a credible UFO case that they could use in their newspaper, and I think they tried to sell it to Inquiry, didn't they? No, the story. They were definitely trying to make money from book and movie sales, right? I think they're trying to make a new movie too, aren't they? For Travis Walton. I think I looked it up. I can't remember what.
Oh God!
I can't remember what they found.
Grounded into the dusty.
Yeah, I think it might have been cancelled though. I can't remember what I found out last night, so I'd have to go back over it. So the other case that we think is one of the best ones is the Pascagoula one. To be on a positive note, we'll catch up on the side chat in a minute. I'll just bring up some images. UFO incident. Now
Probably better off typing in abduction.
these guys here, and I think this is where it happened, so I better see what's going on the side chat here. I think Justin's the only one talking downside. I love the honesty. I really like Travis Walton's story. Glad you are talking about it. Also a great way to cover up a crazy cocaine binge.
Yeah, could well have been.
Yeah, yeah, it's possible. So what are we saying on this chart here? Whereabouts were they on this map here? Let's just click on it and see if we can open it up.
It's down south.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most credible cases of a UFO abduction. So I did a episode last night. This one here.
Don't use Wikipedia, Paul.
That's just what come up in the search here on the thumbnail. I was trying to find that image there, so but we can look at some other pages. So I was talking about this one here. Go and have a listen to the interview. It's quite an interesting interview. But there's actually two new witnesses that come forward that said they remember seeing the blue lights, whereabouts they were on the opposite side of the harbour.
They said they'd never seen it. Are you saying?
No, they've seen the blue lights, and they reckon there was.
They've seen them.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So it sort of matches up their description of the UFO being like a blue pulsing light. So here's the map here. So what are we looking at here? Can't quite see it. Is it? They had a military base not too far away, didn't it? A Navy shipping yard. Gulf of Mexico. Can't quite see it there. Connecting Pascagoula with Open Springs. Any idea what we're looking at there? Let's see if I can zoom in a bit more. Can't quite see where they're referring to. Harrison, Jackson, Hancock. There it is, right at the end here. Under Jackson. There it is, right hand side. So they were there. Fishing.
Yep, Pascagoula.
Yep.
Well, poaching.
Yeah. Catching, what were they called? So in one of my interviews is I got 3 episodes with them hypnotized, and also the original police station interview where the cop or the policeman left the tape recorder going and wanted to see what they were going to talk about after the interview, and they didn't know that he had released it, not actually left it on pause. So yeah, they were talking about the UFO incident and that, so it's worth going to have a listen to it. So yeah, what do you want to say about this? So you got some skepticism here. What's the skepticism? Aviation journalist and UFO skeptic.
Our lovely little mate Philip J. Class.
I
tell you what, anyone who believes this guy is a complete and utter dick.
He does pull
anything that Philip Class says. Take it, it's like piss running down your leg, mate.
Well, Robert doesn't like him too much, but he does actually take quotes from various credible people like Hynek and put it into a summary as a debunk sort of thing. But when Hickson took a polygraph exam, the examiner determined that Hickson believed the abduction story, but Klass argued that the test was administered by an inexperienced operator, and that Hickson refused to take another by a more experienced police operator. But didn't he just do a recent one in 2015? I think it might have been mentioned on Martin Willis' show that he passed it with flying colours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course the techniques nowadays are way better than it was back in the past there.
Yeah. You don't need that lie detector. You've only got to listen to him yourself. The guy's sincere.
And his story hasn't changed, has it?
Never changed.
I don't think.
And he's never been in the limelight.
Yeah. So that's all good. So what else was said here? So we can rule out the lie detector test being inconclusive or whatever, because he has done a repeat one. I think it was mentioned. Hickson's behaviour was questionable. Investigator Joe Nickel wrote that Hickson's behaviour was questionable and that he had altered or embellished his story when later appearing on a television show. Nickel speculated that Hickson may have fantasized the encounter with aliens during a hypnotic waking dream state, adding that Parker corroboration of the tale was largely due to suggestibility. Well, his partner went a bit crazy, didn't he? He was really stressed out and they had to tranquilize him and stuff.
Yeah. Well, hold on. There's something worth mentioning here. And that's that they were in, I presume, a cell together before they were interviewed separately. And when they were together in that cell, they did not realise they were being recorded.
No.
And all they done was console each other.
Yes.
Over what had happened to them.
Yep.
Now, if that is not, a bet, a good marker for genuinity as you'll get, I really don't know.
Well, it says here the police had, since he had told police he had passed out at the beginning of the incident and failed to regain consciousness until it was over. So when he was abducted, he passed out, and the other one didn't, was it?
Yeah, that's right. And he said when he came round in the morning, they were almost like dazed. We didn't really know what had happened, and they were talking about trivial things. And so on. That's a pretty classic case of your mind being phased out, I guess.
Yeah. So what else do you want to say about it?
Other than it's bizarre, my God, and the creatures with claws.
Yeah, kind of crazy looking.
You
Pictures.
couldn't make it up, and that's right. Yeah, and it doesn't fit with any preconceived ideas of aliens.
That's what it looked like. They had like crinkly,
that's right. Yeah,
crinkly skin.
There's nothing like that on any sci-fi channels or anything else to relate to that. For them to have some preconceived idea of what an alien looked like. I think these guys were just innocent guys that got caught up in something.
I think it's actually a suit, like a space suit, right? It had crinkly skin like an elephant, he said, and it had like spikes where the ears were, which could be like antennas, right? It
I
could
mean,
be like
that's an artist's rendition, but yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And then they had
Um,
like claw hands, 3 fingers, thumb, because they don't have to be like us humans. So it's like the most unusual alien abduction story ever, really. We got some more pictures here
yeah,
showing it to you.
and Calvin Parker is.
Are you did?
You can't see him in some kind of elaborate hoax like this at all.
No.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Don't go fishing out of bounds.
Yep, and there is the younger guy, isn't it? The older guy died by then. That's the younger
Yeah.
guy when he's older, which is this guy here. On the right side is this guy here now when he's older. And that guy doesn't live anymore. Hickson, whatever his name was. The other guy was Parker, wasn't it? That's Parker.
Yeah,
So,
Calvin Parker.
what else do we need to mention? So this was the pier where it happened, I take it. And there's the bridge. Apparently it had a camera there though, didn't it? On the bridge. And they said they didn't see any UFO on it. But, as you know, if you can cloak, right, you can, basically they said like a door opened up. It was like, didn't they say it was like a transparent orb or something that appears in front of them, a bright light, and then the doorway opens up and you can see inside the ship. Like this picture here they drew. Had 2 portholes and then the doorway opened up. Kind of looks a bit like a tic-tac, really, doesn't it? So maybe tic-tacs have been around for a wee while. What else?
I don't think those cameras would have been,
Really
too
good.
sophisticated back then. I
Right.
believe it was 1973, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been very good.
Yeah, it'd been pointing one way, and it could have easily missed the whole thing anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
But the 2 eyewitnesses
So,
have come forward, which we can probably bring up here again. I did it last night.
okay. Now, this is
New
interesting.
eyewitnesses. There we go, this one here, Mystery Universe that I talked about. But we'll have a look, see what other people have said. Mississippi, more witnesses, casebook. New witnesses come forward. That looks like a news channel, is it? WLOX. Oh, where's Robert gone? New witness come forward. He's back. What's going on there? Can you see me still?
Yeah, it's okay.
What happened? I thought maybe you had the door ring or something. Can you see me okay? Can you see my desktop okay still, Robert?
No.
No, you can't see my desktop. We got that problem again. You might have to disconnect and reconnect.
No, I can see that. I can see desktop now.
Okay, cool. Okay, we'll just move on. I'm just trying to find a new report. Which one would be a good one to read? Alien induction, close encounter, gets, what's that say here? So that's another thing he talked about, which was kind of strange. He talked about there was like a arm with an eye on it, which looked him over like a scanner. Which kind of sounds a wee bit sci-fi, right? It sounds like War of the Worlds, where the eye comes off a thing. Unexplained mysteries again. So there's only a couple listings here, but looks of it. We've got Mystery Universe. Okay, let's have a look at this one here. I don't know what this is. A news channel, was it? Clarion Ledger. How do we get rid of that? So these are the two new eyewitnesses. Jerry and Maria Blair saw a spacecraft that Calvin Parker and Charles Hickson were taken aboard. So maybe we can play that little news clip there then. Let's see.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Right there where my car is. If we were in a
Very low volume. Can you hear that?
And we were waiting on the captain of the boat, crew boat, to come out because he was going out on the boat. But he was delayed getting here because of him, for some reason. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, so we decided to just sit in the car and wait it out. And it went from daylight, it started getting dark in the afternoon, and that's when over in that west direction, right back over in that way, that bridge there wasn't there. And I noticed a blue light come up in the sky over there. And then I seen it start going. It was following the riverbank, the river here, and it would go so far down, and then it would turn around, and it would come back. And it wouldn't get past from where they were abducted, Parker and Hickman. And so, and then it would go back, and it did that several times, and then sometimes it would just sit there. And then finally I didn't see it anymore. And he said, well, let's go on down, and I put my clothes on the boat because the captain should be here shortly, maybe. So we went on, started walking down, which was used to be a pier right there. Right. And we started walking down the pier, and that's when we heard, he was ahead of me walking, and that's when I heard a loud splash, like something splashed in the water. And right after he stopped and I stopped, and I said, what was that? And so he just kept right on walking, but I stood there and I noticed that something was on the side of the pier, on the side of the pier where I was standing, and it looked like a person in the water. And I told him, I said, there's somebody out there. And he said, oh, come on, ain't nobody out there. So I noticed that something come up, and I could see it. When they come up to the surface, it come up to the surface of the water, and then it just disappeared. It looked like a person out there. So, I mean, I'm looking right down at it because I'm standing on the pier, and right below is where I seen it, right below me. And so it just disappeared in the water. And I told him, I said, there's somebody out there. I'm going to wait and see if they come back up. I said, if they went down, they got to come back up. But I'm not thinking alien. I'm thinking people, just like I did with the UFO. I'm thinking plane, because I told him when I seen that there was that plane.
We both saw it.
Yeah, I told him, that plane don't act like it knows where it wants to go.
I said at first it was plane, then the maneuvers it's making. I said that's a helicopter, because a plane can't stop like that. Hoover.
Yeah, and so anyway, that's what I told him when we were sitting in the car, that the plane acted like it was lost. Because it kept going, and planes don't act like that. They don't go in one place and then turn around, come back, and like that. But anyway, going back to the bridge, he walked on down the bridge, and he kept telling me to come on, and I told him, I said, no, I'm gonna wait to see if they come back up. And I stood there waiting, and I never did see anything come back up. But I know what I seen that night. It looked like a person in the water. It was right below me, and it wasn't. And I'm thinking people, but no, it wasn't.
Okay, so that was obviously a news channel interview with him.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, those two people talking, I see no red flag there. I think that was genuine accounts.
But they heard a splash in the water, but how's
Yeah.
that related to Parker and Hickson's encounter, though? There was no water mentioned. They were floating. Could it have come from the water, the UFO? That's another thing. It could have been a US. It could have been
that's what I was just going to say, but you took the words out of my mouth.
a USO, right?
Yeah. Quite capable of doing that, believe me, Paul.
So I posted a link down the side there if people want to re-listen to it, if it wasn't loud enough. Yeah, I tried to understand all that she was trying to say there, but it was pretty low for me for some reason. So yeah, I think it's all going alright though. So it bothered her for 45 years. You'd think she would have come out sooner though, that's the problem. With that one.
I mean, you had to look at that guy there, and he was basically a reluctant witness in the classic sense. What's he making out of it? Nothing.
Well,
He didn't want to be there.
I don't know. They may have got paid to do the interview, right? So we don't know that much.
I doubt it.
Yeah. Well, they seem to be pointing in the same way. I didn't actually look at the body language to see which way she was looking as she was recalling it. Let's see, can we step back? Probably not. Let's see. Let's step back. Oh, here we go. You can see here she's looking, which direction? Looks like she's looking left, which means she's recalling memory.
And back over in that way, that bridge there.
That's to her right, actually, Paul.
Hang on. No, the right hand's here. She was actually looking this way.
Yeah, the right hand's there, yeah.
She was actually looking this direction, which is memory recall. But they ain't looking at her
Yeah, that's
straight.
following the hand.
At the moment, she's looking at where it happened, which is okay. She's looking straight forward. I'm just trying to find. Unfortunately, she's not looking this direction now when she's talking. There you go. Looking straight at the camera.
There. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking
Nothing
right
more.
down at
There you go. She was looking down to her left. When she
person out
talked
there.
there.
So, I mean, I'm looking right down
See,
at
she was
this,
looking
'cause I'm
left,
seeing
doing a memory recall of some what is it at that stage? Sound.
on the pier and right below.
There you go, hearing. She's talking about hearing. So she looked down to her left, which means she's recalling some audible memory.
I seen it right below me.
Looks a pretty much run down area now, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, but I don't think you can read too much into the body language there.
People, you know,
I think that you have to take this case as a true
just like I
unknown.
did with the UFO.
I think she's telling the truth, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. She's looking left there.
Yeah,
which is
so yeah, absolutely, Paul. So
she
do I.
looked left there for just a brief second, and which means that she's retrieving a visual thing, and then she points. See that? So she's definitely telling the truth by the body language.
Yeah.
Well, the other people we're talking about were looking mostly to the right and straight on, which means they're sort of fabricating stuff. So yeah, probably all we do on those ones for now. I'm not sure if you want to talk any more about that case at all. But I will put some more interviews up during next week when I get some time to make them and clean up the audio, because
What can?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what can you say about a case that's so bizarre? And with genuine witnesses,
Yeah, I don't know.
you know, who stood the test of time.
Yeah. It does sound like it could have been a USO that come out of the water. Which
Yeah.
means maybe the bridge wouldn't have seen it then in that case. But they said there was lights above in the sky, so that's kind of strange as well. But
Yeah, well, they do seem to have this ability to be underneath the water one
well,
second and in the sky the next.
if it travelled underneath the bridge underwater and then popped out near where the guys were into the sky and started showing themselves as blue lights, then that kind of makes sense, right? So, but anyway, we better get on with the other stuff and just wrap up.
Okay.
So, I did another folder here for Secureteam and other people. So we'll just start with third phase. So I'll just bring up the video and go through it with people, what it is and the claims they're making, which can be debunked. So which one was it now? Looks like they put up some more since 3 hours ago. What just happened? Was it that one? No, here it goes, the plain one. I'll just bring this one up. Got it muted at the moment. I will slow it down a wee bit. Caps on. Okay, so some guy's filming something out a plane window. Don't we just love those ones? And we've got a couple of dots in the horizon there. I don't know if you can see that on your screen, but I'll make it bigger. There you go. Oh, what could it be there? A UFO.
Pull still frame from the video itself, trying to get a close-up look exactly what the object is.
They sound even funny on slow motion. Kind of looks like the space shuttle, really, doesn't it? You can see a tail fin. See that? You can see a tail fin. And look like a black nose on it, maybe. And you can see the guy goes out of focus there. That's what happens when it just goes into a blurry mess.
What's your thought? Is this some kind of glare from within the cabin of the airplane? It definitely doesn't seem to be. Absolutely not. What we're looking at is something that he's filming through the window of this plane. What are we looking at? This is great still right here. It looks flat, and it doesn't look like there's a tail wing or
Yes,
anything
it does.
of the sort of a conventional aircraft. This looks like a Tic Tac.
Okay, so I did actually put that through the editor.
I really.
And in fact, it looks to me like it's hey presto, a plane in the distance. So I put some filters through it, and you can see here it looks like it's got a tail fin going up. It's got a bit here, which is probably the wing bit here. If you can see, it's dark. Looks like it's got some engines poking forward here, and you can see here it looks like it might be maybe 747, maybe. Seems to go up a wee bit in the front there. It's definitely more obvious here. You can see the tail fin here might be blue, so it's not reflecting as much. That's Kuwait passenger jet symbol there, so they have a white and blue stripe system. You can see here it looks like it's got a sort of like a blue black nose cone, which sort of matches this type of plane. And you can see here the bright engines that would be there. in the image, and you can see how the fin goes back up here. But we got some lens flare obviously happening when he was zooming in, which we can cut back down and actually see that there's definitely a shape happening. But
yeah, okay. You've pasted that thing next to the object, don't you, Paul?
Yeah, I've put a plane as example next to the object. So I've actually stretched it out a wee bit here, the plane and the thing, to show you the more of the profile that.
Yeah, well, don't stretch it out to make it fit now.
But you can see here it's got a tail fin, can't you? You can see a tail fin, and you can see.
Seems to be.
Yeah, it's just like a few pixels. We're talking about the engine at the front here. That hasn't been altered here. So you can see here, it looks like engines. So it's going to be roughly the same sort of angle to this cutout I did here. You can see I cut it out and pasted it above the top. But you can see here, it's definitely got a tail fin going up. It's definitely not a tic-tac anyway. But as you see in that video footage, right, in the video footage, they don't mention any details, right? In fact, they even give credit to the person. Oh, here we go, source here. So there's no date, time, or anything where we can plug it into flight radar. So we could probably look that up with flight radar and actually pin the exact plane that was obviously taken off from the airport, because it's going off in this direction, away in the distance, heading away from them, and this plane's coming into land obviously. So we got no flight number and we got no date and time, so it's not been properly researched or analyzed, right? But just looking at the video analysis, right, it does fit a plane profile off in the distance here, flying away. And I think that's all they do in this whole video, is this one plane thing. So definitely it's not a reflection in the window, which a lot of them are, right, with the sun coming in, or a reflection from within the camera onto the window, because they're triple glazed windows that you're filming through, so they do create artifacts. So I'm not sure if anyone else has mentioned that it's possibly another plane. So let's just have a quick look here. They're not hiding anymore. Damn, you turned a 30-second video clip into 10 minutes. Well, 10 minutes they can add 3 ads or more into that video clip and triple their income from it. So how many views did they get for it? 31, almost 32,000. Times it by 3, and that makes it up to 100,000 views, say. If you get 1 cent per view, that's equivalent to what, $100 US. Not really much money compared to other channels out there that are making big bucks off UFO footage. And of course that also depends on ad blocker. I think they get more money if people click on the ads too. They get the paid click sometimes, rather than just a visual, what do you call it, view, at 1 cent per view, right?
Yeah, and of course, you're going to make more money from putting out bullshit than you are genuine stuff.
Yeah, so
because people don't want to. They don't want to see debunking,
but they
just want to see sensational garbage.
Yeah,
like ST10.
Like keep the names of these countries silent. So they like talking heads, right? They don't actually. They say, "Oh, what could it be? It doesn't look like a tic-tac. It looks like To the Stars was saying blah blah blah." But they don't actually do any analysis, right? They say, oh, it can't be a blimp, it's too far away to be a blimp, but it could easily be a blimp as well, right? Blimps have little tail fins, and they do look like a tic tac from distance. So it could be a Goodyear blimp even, but unless we got the details, it's going to be some sort of other aircraft of some kind flying away from them, and it's too far away to see details, of course, right? But they just talk utter nonsense, these guys. And you got people saying they've changed, but what have they changed into? Because I'm not seeing any change whatsoever. Just putting up any junk and claiming it to be suspicious, like a UFO. So that's just trying to tell people that it's not like a conventional plane. But they're not zooming in, right? They're not doing any filtering. And they're not plugging it into plane finder to say, look, oh, there's no other plane in the sky when this plane wasn't in the air, right? So
yeah, the only thing with plane finder, and you know, this is for everyone to know, that it'll only cover commercial craft. It won't cover drones, and you know, it won't cover military aircraft. So it's not 100% reliable.
True, but so
but it's a good start.
Well, if you got Flight Radar 24 has actually got a lot of smaller private airplanes on it than Plane Finder has. So Flight Radar 24 is far superior. But if this guy had the app right on his phone, he could just simply aim it out the window there. If it had GPS working through the window, and it would have overlaid what plane number it was they were looking at. But I think you have to turn off your phones. But how come you can video? You can turn off. You have to turn off the radio style. You have to do airplane mode, but it allows you to do camera still, does it? Yeah, it does. So they probably wouldn't be able to use the app, but he could have simply looked it up afterwards as well. So have we got any dates in this? Nope, see that? And it's got listed as entertainment. So they've taken it from an entertainment channel, which means it can be anything, and then they've tried to rebadge it on their channel into this, where they've got it listed as Science and Technology News channel. Rather than being film and animation, because these guys are known for putting up a lot of CGI stuff. And what's this one? Why do you not show how it disappears? I do not think it's still there. It doesn't disappear suddenly. Was going slowly far from the plane. Takes maybe more than 1 hour until I can't see it. What's that sound like? It sounds like a slow moving jet flying in the opposite direction, doesn't it? So so we can
well, put it this way, it's not doing anything that suggests
that it's a UFO.
it's not man-made.
Well, it's just hovering, moving slowly away. You know, planes. If it's a UFO, you know, you'd expect it to be.
Do we have the wind direction?
Now, there's no information there. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying, from my analysis, just from the graphics alone, to me it looks like another plane, a white plane that's heading away from them, or maybe even flying.
But if you don't have a date stamp and you don't have the location.
Yeah.
And you can't look at the weather forecast up on that particular day, then we're going into totally a belief system then, which is no good for anyone.
Okay, so that's in the same video, or was it the next video? I think it might be the next video. Yeah, that would bring up the next video and talk about that one. What are we saying here? Well, if we had a date and time, I could plug it into my golden membership Flight Radar and look up the details and see if it's listed on the flight path, right? And no picture is 100% reliable. True. Video alone won't prove it as a UFO, but we can use other tools like we're talking about to would you say debunk or at least prove it's not a UFO? So yeah, we'll go on to the next one, which was the helicopter one. This one here. That was the plane. So let's have a look at this one, and I'll go through it. Okay. So what are they talking about? Bob Lazar, was it? Oh no, they're talking about the school kids. Whereabouts was that? Again. I'll just...
Space is it too far away?
That wasn't the Africa
Oh,
one.
hold on.
I think that was in UK. UK.
Oh, that could have been. Yeah, that could have been. That's in the Monmouth area of Wales in the UK.
Just trying to find little
It's a good case.
Another one that landed in the woods near a school, was it? They pointed ears. That sounds a wee bit like Pascagoula. They had pointy ears. Although they kind of look like werewolves, these ones. Remember the stories about Bigfoots flying UFOs? So, who knows? It's possible. And of course the Dogman. Dogman was another one that looks like a Bigfoot but actually has a snout like a wolf. Wolf? Or how's Tyler say it? Wolf. He says wolf, doesn't he? Not a wolf. Anyway, let's see. Where was it?
Spaceship, it looks...
It's going to become of this.
Cigar shape with a dome on it. It had yellowy orange to red light on top of it.
Yeah, that case we might have to cover sometimes, Robert. We might have to do a proper thing on it.
Do you know what? I'll do some research on this because it's a big favourite of Finn's as well, you know.
Okay.
And it's a really good case because there was so many witnesses, and I think one of the teachers actually seen it as well. Yeah, that, I can tell by the accent that's definitely the Welsh case.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they've added stupid music over top of it.
Was trying to find a
Yeah, no need for that.
I was looking at the
I know, it ruins
bushes at the
things,
top
I
of the
find,
trees.
putting music over what people
then
talk.
Suddenly, the silver cigar-shaped object seemed to pop up from behind the bushes and trying to take off. Then it disappeared again.
I got it on slow motion though at the moment. I never saw the location.
Were you frightened?
Has he actually got it listed down here? See again, we haven't got any information about what clip they used. As we go to the original one, couldn't we? Become a member, that's all it's got here.
Frightened at the time?
Yes.
Why?
Okay, I'll find it.
I thought there was your whole arm inside there or something.
It was 40 years ago when a class of kids at Broadway Heaven Primary School said they spotted a UFO in a field near their playground.
So that's very much like the Australian case. What's it called? The Westall case, where the UFO come down.
Yeah, that's very similar.
Yeah.
And there was also Ariel in Zimbabwe.
Yep.
As well.
So there seems to be
yeah.
We should cover all those sometime and put it together into a live stream. But 40 years ago,
I tell you what, we can definitely do that because the material's unlimited. Okay, just let me speak for a second here. Okay, it was 1977, and it was Pembrokeshire, which is a village of Broadhaven in South Wales.
Right.
I'm just having a look now.
Yeah, we can cover it another time. I was just going to go through the other debates.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Yep. So,
Yeah,
sightings
but-
in Los Angeles have been going on, so it might be what we need to look at now.
Recently, over the past couple of years, and Charles sent this video to us via our Gmail. He stated he captured this earlier this July from Culver City.
Okay, I think this one's CGI, right? It looks wrong, doesn't it? Here's a helicopter circling a so-called UFO, right? And not sure what that is up there, another helicopter, but it looks so fake, you know.
He lives in Culver City and he's up in the hills, just enjoying the view, and then notice some LAPD activity, the choppers. He heard the sound
two choppers.
And immediately took out his cell phone and captured something that's been happening lately in the skies over Los.
Okay, that's another footage. That was the donut balloon that was on a Teffa. You could see it was a donut. So we covered that one before. So they're mixing in stuff here.
Los Angeles. Weird objects with LAPD.
That helicopter is not actually circling the balloon. It's actually circling around a block away because LAPD helicopters, when they're assisting traffic cops on the road to apprehend things, they're always above circling around, right? So yeah, is that the one with the balloon? I don't know if that's the one with the balloon. I think this one also might have been filmed through a piece of glass or something like that, and they were fabricating
surrounding these objects. What's going on? Is this?
And I think this one might be something similar. Maybe it was two helicopters and they're filming through a bit of glass here with a bit of speck on it.
We're looking at this and we're going to slow things down and try and get a closer look and try and figure out what the object is. It definitely got the LAPD's interest, you could see.
Did I see some reflections here, like it's filmed through a piece of glass?
Here, Brent, what's your
That's the
thoughts?
sort of thing you got to look for.
Absolutely. Well, LA is a hot
Yeah,
spot
also
for
look for
movie
little
making,
spots
and
in
we're
the
right
window.
next to Culver City, next to Sony department and their big studios. Could they
just saw a
be
bug fly
working
by
on
them.
some sort of movie in the works? Is this a stunt of a project that we're not privy?
You know, if you're going to put up something like this, you actually look up and see if it was a stunt or some movie thing was going on. You'd before putting it up as a UFO video, saying, "Well, we checked it out. There was no movie set going on." Instead, they just
I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be looking at here.
that's a helicopter where my mouse cursor is, the big one.
Yeah.
And that's meant to be the UFO. Remember there was a case in previously with
they're just black dots. That's no proof of anything.
Yeah, I've actually got a zoom in of it. Let's see here. Well, this one here. There you go. Can you see it now a bit better? So this is what we're dealing with.
Yeah,
a helicopter up here.
Yeah.
And a blob.
It's pixelated.
Yeah, it's so far away.
But-
You're not going to see any detail. Could that be like a balloon that's tethered to a building, advertising balloon? Who knows? And it could
Easily.
Yeah. Or could it be a CGI, which it could be too.
Oh, fucking hell. Case dismissed.
No swearing. Yeah, so, yeah, we'll just carry on. Well, this is why I'm bringing it to the attention of people. So, I'm not sure if we need to look any more at that one. It's pretty hopeless, really. So there you go. You can see a helicopter now, right?
Mary, the helicopter is pretty close, and what does LAPD have to do with Hollywood unless it's some kind of LAPD prop?
It sounds like Tyler to me.
There might have been.
No, it's Blake. Blake from Third Phase of the Moon. There's a logo, yeah.
Oh my god.
So I think it's obviously a fake one, but we'll just move on. You see, if that was creating a wind draft, right, and that was a tethered balloon, we'd expect some wind to be moving it around a wee bit in the gust from the helicopter. Or maybe this is something in the foreground on a window, and he's just filming these helicopters circling around after a suspect. So it's pretty much up in the air, really, which way it is. But again, we've got no information. I don't know if they've listed it here at all. No. Doesn't look like it, does it? So I'm not sure where they got it from. But is it the other footage? And of course, everyone should know what this is if they've been following my channel. They're saying it's a circular, strange, weird looking cylinder, right?
It's not a balloon. It's not a banner. There's no plane. It's just flat up in the sky.
Okay, so it's got a little white dot here as it's turned, and it's reflecting the sun. There it is there still.
Mind you, I am sitting in my car.
Okay, so that's one of these things. Which I've talked about many times. There you go. There's your cylinder that can be quite big. It is a person there. And you can see they bend a wee bit. And you get small ones, you get triangle ones, and so on. And we go back to the video, it looks very much like this one here. I don't know if they zoom in or not, but here you go, you can see the bend. You can see it's a black solar tube balloon. You don't expect to have a UFO alien craft with bends in them like that. And you can just see it's just moving around with the air currents. It's not doing anything crazy, and then it's turning around, and then the sun's reflecting off the end here in a dense overexposure to the camera. And so on. I think that might be it for that one, I think. And back to the helicopter ones. I think that was all of it. Did I miss any? What was that one?
You pretty much covered those.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Solar tube balloon. Probably better zoom in. You can see how bent it is here at the end here. I don't think that would be a flying craft of any kind.
Well, no, it's obviously not a solid structure. I mean, I doubt it is. If we could see it over several frames, it would be maybe different. Then we could see if it was changing shape or not.
Yeah. What was that one? Yeah, that was the other thing. Secureteam, his Area 51. Apparently, Google are now putting on this disclaimer on his video saying conspiracy, right? It's not very clear there. Talking about conspiracy anyway. Which, when I play his videos, I never get that, which is kind of strange. Maybe it only shows to people that follow conspiracies, I don't know. So, totally needed that, right? What they should do is put a link to my debunks on him. That should be like the Secureteam Roach channel, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, we're going to... we'll just go on to the next set of videos. Let's see. So I think we were done with that one. I think that was all done. Waste of time. And I think that's all the ones I looked at here. I think, oh right, this one here. Just one more of theirs before we move on to Secureteam, and then we'll wrap up for the night. So what are we looking at here? Ah right, I'll just mute it and put closed captions on.
Okay.
So see what you can see here, what's going on. I'll zoom in a bit. What's it look like to you? Is that a theme park? And we got some streaks of lights in the sky that seem to be getting lower and lower. Alright, so we got some more over here. Now lighten up. And you can see they're always heading towards the ground. So what do you think they are?
Well, I don't know, but maybe skydivers.
Hey! There you go, Robert, you're not so bad. We're seeing these lots of time with the golden lights. You can see they come down with streaks like fireballs.
See, I mean, you know, you have to look for unusual behaviour in an object before you can call it a UFO. And there's nothing unusual about that.
Also, they stop filming, so you don't see them disappear, right? So only they get so low to the ground, and then they start.
Yeah, that's a classic case of.
Yeah, these people knew what they were filming. It's at a theme park, so it was some sort of skydiving event for attraction, maybe further away from the roller coaster here. So you picked that one, but we'll bring up some other pictures of skydivers. Reflection skydivers, yes. Not reflections, no. There would actually be flares because it makes the let's see, it makes the streaky things. Skydivers, golden lights is a common one. These guys, and they have various flares on them which can be lit off, which last a certain time, and they can get ones that last longer. So you can see here they're letting off flares now, is it? There you go, like that. But some people get some good pictures of them. So they got ones with the parachutes, right? They do parachutes at the very end. So that footage, if it carried on filming, right, you would have seen the parachutes open up. But yeah, it leaves these streaks where they move around in the sky. At night time, it shows up a wee bit better. Now there are some football stadium footage ones out there, which I've shown before. Probably can't find it unless you use the right keywords, probably.
I don't know, maybe Google Images would put you in the right.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. It's probably not them this time, but there probably was some other skydivers that they use. And also, remember, they also use those synchronized drones now for aerial displays at these theme parks and events. I think probably have to Skydivers Stadium probably, but the videos are out there. Night time. Here we go. Night jump, night vision effect. Aero Pyro incorporated night dive. Here we go. So we go to this one. Hopefully it'll be the same effect, hopefully. Also, they've got different colour flares instead of white ones, so they've got the red ones. And not very good footage though. It looks like they're inside the plane now, is it? It's probably not the best one to look at by the looks of it. I think it's filming from their perspective, yeah, so we can see the other skydivers in front of them. We want to see it from the ground. Well, there you go, they're letting off the flares now. Let's see, what's the other one? '43 video, must be pretty old. Why is it not playing? Oh, pretty bad camera. Yeah, it's not very good footage either, is it? Oh, here we go.
No, not the best.
No, not the best one. There's better ones out there. They haven't even got it in focus there. Like I said, sometimes it's really hard to find what you're looking for. I normally have it bookmarked for it. But I covered it a few lives back with a Secureteam one, where they had one at...
yeah, done well over there, just move on.
Yeah, just move on. I thought I could find it quite easily, but probably have to type in the right thing. Flares, maybe. Divers, flares.
And to... Oh, God. Phone call, sorry. I'm mute.
Alright. And this one might be it. Crazy video going on. Nope, that one's no good for us. That's scuba diving, I think. Well, might have to move on. Skydivers. Should be easy to find it, you'd think. The meteorite flares. Okay, let's have a look at that one. Or was it already what we've seen before? Oh, here we go. That's what we want. There you go. Exactly the same sort of thing that was happening at the theme park there. That one's pretty good. You can't see the parachutes or anything like that. Oh, there we go. So what they do is they can actually release them as well from their body and of course create that effect. Now there was the good thing in Australia where they had like a C, was that 180 Hercules plane, where the skydivers jumped out the back with flares going, and it looked like they had the plane lit up, so it looked like it was a big meteorite coming down into the sky, and bits were breaking off the end, and the skydivers were jumping out the back end of it, and it looked really effective, and it looked it had me fooled until I realised it was actually what they were doing in a display thing. And yeah, the plane, obviously the flares go out on the plane and it flies away in the dark, you never see it, and you see the bits of the meteorite coming down slowly down towards the ground. So yeah, let's move on. So this one here, this is the one I want to talk about here, where they got it from what's his name, Scott C. Warren. And also Tyler has used the same thing, I think, today, and I debunked it here. So Tyler did that one as well. Let's see, I think it was him. It's funny how they reuse each other's things, right? Scott from ET Database. Oh no, it's Third Phase. Maybe it was Third Phase, that one. Pretty much best video of the week. So what's this here? So apparently it's actually a piece of lint that ended up inside the, believe it or not, the camera in space. And it's a known artifact that sometimes appears in the imaging where it's reflecting the light coming from the sun. So there is actually a web page on it, and they have it. I posted it up on Twitter today, so if I go to my web page, I've got this one all covered. As well as the other ones I'm going to talk about. So here's an image snapshot I did, but where's the web link? Here. No. I did post it. Let's see. Can't see to pin where the reply was. Pretty sure it was on the main image here. There we go. So there are other possibilities, of course, when you see these things here. Apparently this is where part of the lens is, so it never gets any light coming in, so you always get this strip here. These are planets, and obviously that's Pleiades, the star system, Mercury. So yes, you get objects of the stars and sun also on these things. Of course, then you also got that one there with Venus, Mercury, Spica, but the lint one, I was just trying to find the link to it. As it said here from A51, he says that it's piece of fabric, no secret, no planet. Want proof? Go to 27/2008 dates, and I did post the link to it. Where's it gone?
Is this Twitter poll?
Yeah, this is my Twitter account.
Okay.
I was trying to find the link to the article and for some reason I can't see it. So here's another one that explains what we're seeing. Debris particle from satellite, cosmic ray blobs that appear on the image, and streamers from the sun. So that's on my Twitter account if you want to go and have a look at them. But I thought I'd put it up into a video today to show people that people like me out there really know the truth of what actually is in these images, and that these guys are hook-winking you for views to their websites or channels to make money from it.
Yeah, well, you know, the unfortunate thing is, and I have to speak out on this, Paul, the unfortunate thing is, even the good guys, and I'll name them, yeah, people like Richard Dolan, for example, are doing this. Yeah, it's not good. It's really not good. And do you know what? going back a couple of years, I was thinking, who is the best guy out there in this field? Yeah, I would have said Richard Dolan. Now, I'm sorry. Yeah, he is in my bin now. Yeah. I think, you know, if you're not going to listen to us, we're just an amateur team at the end of the day. But if you're not going to listen to us, maybe listen to the likes of Daniel Litz, Dark Journalist, John Greenwald, Black Vault. Other than that, I wouldn't bother your arse, mate.
Although Black Vault has Black Vault has got some things wrong, and he hasn't admitted to it though. About the release of the To The Stars documents, he was saying that it wasn't officially released, but that's just his misinterpretation of how he read the information on the document. I can't remember what it was now exactly, but
I'll tell you what, Greenwald is a lot more correct than the other side, the pro TTSA side. They just brought out this new acronym now, the Vault, and you might as well spell it crap, yeah, with a dot in between.
Yeah,
you know, it's just a money-making industry.
Yeah.
If you've got information, get it out.
Okay, so
it shouldn't cost anybody.
So there you go. You can see the fabric's moved, but it's identical to what's in that video. There you go, but it's on the opposite side to the example, which is a close-up of the image of a small fiber on the surface of the CCD camera for the Core 2 on stereo ahead. Click on the image to see location on the detector. Okay, let's do that. And there we go. Piece of little fabric
CD
right in the place where you don't want it. So I'd say that what they've done, what Scott C. Warren's done, is he's flipped the image around in the editor, right, to make it look more this direction, and so it doesn't get picked up people searching for it to match up the image here. It's probably where he's got it from, actually. It's probably from the database here. Is it exactly the same? I don't know. It kind of looks like the same, doesn't it? Got black lines here. Yep. Let's go back to it. Black lines here. I think it's the same image, but he's just flipped it. So these guys are dishonest. Scott C. Warren. In fact, I found out he blocked me even before I even contacted them. He had blocked me. So when people block you, they got stuff to hide, right? And then when they start deleting your comments,
of course they have.
So
you can't deal with it.
Yeah. So this one here, this page here talks about various artifacts. We've got another one here. Small dust particle on the surface of the EUV eye detector on the stereo behind. So they, you know how they wear the white suits and all that, and gloves when they make all these space objects to go up in space. They've got to be very careful of lint and dust getting into the camera, and this is exactly what happens. Someone slipped off, a wee bit of lint come off the suit, obviously, a white fibre, and now they've got it defacing what images they get in space here. So what do we got here as well? What's this one? Streaks caused by light streaks in the thin film filters for the 284 angstrom bandpass. So we're getting these streaks here, but there's a lot of other artifacts that I've listed on my page here for the SOHO stuff up the top here. These other images plus some links. I'll just go back to the top. I don't really like Twitter because it doesn't have a really nice friendly commentary, right? It sort of hides it, so you have to look for numbers in the replies here, and you can see there's two hidden here, but it hasn't actually showed them until you actually click on the message, which is kind of stupid. It should actually open it up and sort of have like the headers or the first line, so you know there's 2 alpha messages underneath. So there are some other information about artifacts on the sun camera, and here you can see these streaky ones which people have claimed as UFOs as well. You can see they're pretty small, and filter out cut, voila, finally. So they're talking about hotspots, how to make your own UFO. Planets always look like very strange. So they're sort of like these objects up here, planet with the streaks. Cosmic rays, software glitches, detector defective debris, small pieces of insulation, dust and fibers. So that's another page that talks about what you can get on the sun images, and you get these UFO channels that exploit it, right? And there's another image there. Money is really the fuel of lies in the UFO domain. Yes, it is. You just have to see Dolan when he does his live chats, and you got super chat going, and people were throwing what, $500 at him when he was talking about the Wilson leaks. So
yeah. The leak that's going down the inside of Dolan's leg.
Right. Are you there, John? I mean, Robert.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Hang on,
Can you hear me, Paul?
Hang on, I might have a loose connection because you're in one speaker. Are you there still?
Yes.
Something's going on here. You can hear me okay, obviously.
Yeah.
I've got a loose connection here somewhere, I think. Is it working now? Say hello.
Oh.
Yep, it's working now. Okay, so there's another link I had to finally show some more, and it was this one here. Don't you hate this when they got this security thing? Proceed to site, and also gives a lot of rundown here. Why is there a 16-hour gap and all this? So they answer it right. Are we seeing images downloaded directly from the satellites? No. SOHO, the satellite, is not on the internet. NASA is working on internet protocols for space. So basically it downloads to them, then they upload it to a website. So it's not real time. But I think, didn't they have a real time one? Well, it was actually delayed. It sort of seemed to be time lapsed, didn't it? Let's see, what else I got here? What is the bright spot on the line through it? Is it a planet? This occurs for any object, whether a star or planet, that is so bright that it's overexposed. The CC detectors that we use bleed electrons. So I've covered that before in previous lives. Why can't I see the comet listed as being in the NW C3 frame? Important note is the east is at the left edge of the what's it say there? Pretty fine print. Why do I see cosmic ray streaks persistent from frame to frame? Missing 32 times 32 pixel blocks are filled in with the corresponding block from the previous image. This was done for cosmetic reasons in the movies. They're talking about the movies where you can get it on the website to see it. It's not done in the raw data on the archive. So it goes through a lot of questions here, and why do I see a rectangle pattern? The EIT telescope uses very thin filters, about 1000 angstroms, which is about 0.00004 inches, that are so weak structurally that they need to be supported on a wire mesh. During launch, the instruments was evacuated so that the vibration of the air in the instrument would not break them. The mesh causes the dark lines in the EIT images. So the answers are out there, you just have to go and dig. Don't trust Third Phase on the Moon to tell you all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Oh, good God, no.
So that's that one there. The Skydivers. The Sun one is debunked as a fibre. They're saying it's a craft, which is lies. And this one here, I'll just play it. It's not a plane. No, it's not a plane. So I'll just play this one, and you tell me what it is. Well, you reckon?
Mm-hmm.
Have you got an idea?
Okay. I'm watching.
Goes past the chimney here, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, good photograph. He's running. Here we go. So what are we looking at? Looks like it's drifting with air current, wouldn't you say?
It's a bird.
No, it's not a bird. It's a balloon. There's a balloon or a bunch of balloons. It could be. Yeah, it's a balloon or a bunch of balloons.
It's going on the air current, isn't it? And it's travelling that way.
Yeah.
No, it's not a bird. It's holding.
It's not a bird.
It looks like a bird there.
You can't see the wings, right? You can't see wing flap. It looks like it might be either a bunch of balloons tied together, or it could be a character balloon.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right. And it's rotated as well with the air current. So that should even be on a UFO channel, right?
If it reverse course, you would have to reevaluate everything, but it's not, is it?
No. So, they should be saying straight away it's a helium balloon of some kind, drifting in the air current. Of course, again, there's no analysis done which way the air current was going, and all that sort of thing. It could even be like a collection of rubbish bags, with some helium in it tied together. So I think I did some zoom-ins here with that one too. So many videos I went through. There it is here. It's not very good quality though. Character balloon, maybe a head.
Yeah, it's probably a balloon array,
Or it could just be like a bunch of balloons tied together, and it just looks like a character balloon.
Exactly, yeah, an array, yeah.
So we're looking at something like this here. Probably a bunch of black balloons with maybe a silver one thrown in, because there was some glare back, right? So you might even get one that's got a long neck on it like this here, and if you've got a little bunch at the bottom here and you've got a long neck going up, it looks like a character balloon.
One thing to mention is, when you see a bird that's floating on the
light,
the air currents,
it doesn't. You mean gliding?
Yeah, it's in glide mode. Yeah, it doesn't flap its wings.
Yeah. What were you saying, Carrots? What one thing to mention?
Oh no, I was just saying that a bird, when it's on an air current, it doesn't flap its wings. It just glides on them. so it holds its shape.
So you can
So
see.
yeah, balloon and bird can easily be mistaken. But having said that, you know, you really need to know the wind direction
Yep.
before you can start.
But you can see all these big
being
character
critical.
balloons. Yeah. All these big balloon character balloons you can get.
Yeah, which come in all shit. And UFO balloons are quite popular, I believe.
Well, that didn't look like a UFO one to me. It looked like maybe like a dinosaur balloon or something like that. Let's see, dinosaur. You probably could match it up. So it could easily be something like that, you know, floating in the sky. But none of those seem to really gel for me, though. Also, we don't know how big they are because we need one with a kid holding it. So, but some of them can get quite big, you know, like several humans big.
Well, yeah, just to mention, there was a video up recently of what I believe to be a balloon, and that had a classic UFO shape. The only thing, it had this aura around it that was white in colour, that people were saying was an anti-gravity device. Like they actually know how UFO works.
Yeah.
Anyway, what most people didn't realise, that when you compress video, that's an artifact of the video. It's compression.
Yeah.
Plus,
so this
you
is
can try it out for yourself.
This is another one they put up. What's that one there? We've covered this a zillion times already, and they're saying it's a craft leaving a exhaust trail, a UFO.
Well, I'm not really sure why UFOs should be using fossil fuels for a start.
Yeah, but what are we looking at here? Do you know what we're looking at?
We're looking at an aircraft.
Yes, we're looking at an aircraft leaving a contrail, and because it's now the sun's gone down, it's showing it up as a dark cloud against a white cloud there.
Yeah.
And you can see it here getting longer. Coming down to land probably. They've probably taken off and that one's coming down to land. Where's it gone? There we go. There you go. Definitely a plane contrail. There's another one that's flying away from the plane.
Oh,
right? But if you listen to these turkeys here, it's just crazy.
Like it's going up at this point, and it's a single tail of smoke. Let's keep an eye.
It's
at
not
this.
smoke. It's
Unfortunately, it goes behind the wing, and we miss a little bit of the display on what's going down. But we see it as soon as it passes the wing. It's totally different from where it was. Again, it does these strange rotations. Every time we see a video like this, it seems like maybe a...
That's because the plane is turning, right, in the contrail.
No, honest.
And this plane that they're filming from is obviously turning as well. So you're seeing it from a different angle viewpoint, right? So it starts off there and this plane's turning. And then we're seeing it at a straight angle at that stage, and we're only seeing one side of it. So this is these cousin bros. They're meant to have changed their ways, right? So leave it up to you guys to work it out. What's this one here? It's a Cessna plane. So even
Cessna, yeah.
You remember that one we were looking at before with the tic-tac? Now they're saying it's a Cessna. There you go. I think it's the same video, isn't it? And then they got the roller coaster one, then the SOHO one again. Yep. So I think that one's done with now. Could have a look at the comments and have a laugh, I suppose. What we got here? If these are jumpers, then these guys are on fire. Well, that's what flares tend to do, right? That's a flare attached to skydiver's foot. Very common now for skydivers. How the heck do you even pretend to think that there's a parachute jumpers? So this girl's a wee bit naive. I don't know of any man-made machine or element that can approach the sun from that distance and remain still. I don't know what he's on about. We ever seen...
No, nor do I.
Oh, he must be talking about that fabric on the sun image. We're seeing these ones in Australia today fighting each other. Two pieces of fall in the air. I don't know what he's talking about. Yes.
I think the explanation is probably easier, simpler than the way he's putting it.
Anyway, I think we've done now with these guys, the bunks, and now we'll have a look at Secureteam and finish off the night. It's 3.5 hours already. Hey, I'm getting a wee bit tired now though. So yeah,
been that long? My God.
Yeah, we can talk for a long time on this stuff, can't we? So he put out this one here with something above the clouds. So I'll just go over that. I think I covered the other ones already. Earthquake nonsense. I'll just mute that. Okay, we'll just slow it down a wee bit and watch it. Okay, so we're looking at low level cloud here and the plane's flying above it, obviously. Another passenger jet. You can see the edge of the window here at the bottom here, cut off. Flying over Switzerland, I believe. As you know, there's quite a lot of mountain ranges there.
It is indeed, yeah.
Yeah. And they got nuclear power stations. So he's zooming in and he spots a black thing in the cloud. There it is, showing up now, I think, there. It also looks like it's black there too, doesn't it? But it's there. I'll just zoom in. Okay, so I looked at this and I thought, reminds me of the low cloud of the chimneys that were in UK where they said there was people standing above the clouds, right? Giants above the clouds, and which was just a chimney smoke stacks with some smoke coming out of them. And this is what I thought it could be, maybe a factory with the chimney just breaking above the low cloud level, just above the airport. But then I thought, let's do some analysis on it, because I know they got a lot of mountains there. And I'll just zoom out of that. And here's the image, close up of it. Why is it not working? Depends what frame you get, of course. He's saying it looks like a perfect circle, but you can see already here, just zooming in, that it's not a perfect circle. It looks like almost like a hole in the clouds, right? A break in the cloud layer. looking at a dark thing underneath, right? So it kind of looks like that.
Well, it's pretty close to a circle. You have to say that.
I got some close-up analysis I did. Here we go. Enhancement. And you can see here it's not actually a circle. This has been focused. And if we go in here, we can see it almost looks like the edge of the clouds going around here. 2 layers of clouds. And underneath there, obviously, is something black. Or not much light.
Yeah, and behind it looks suspiciously like an exhaust fill.
So could it be black smoke coming above the cloud? I don't know, but I thought it could be a mountain peak. So I looked at some searches on mountain peaks. Let's see.
It's the Alps.
Yeah, it's the Swiss Alps, and you can see here's a picture of what looks like black peaks, right? Which, if you saw that from above, and if we had all this low cloud like we've got here, hiding all the rest of it, it's going to look very much like that picture. So my guess is we're seeing a hole in the cloud, and we're just seeing this black rock. I can't remember where this was, but I got it off. I got it off a search. But you probably could search Swiss. So this guy's saying it looks like a craft above the clouds. It's not a weather balloon. Of course it's not a weather balloon. If you do some proper analysis on it, Swiss Alps, you reckon, would be a good one to search?
Yeah, I've already got something here.
Yep.
Let me have a look at this article.
You can see how jagged it is, that it could easily pop through the cloud layer. They're quite high up, these Alps, right?
Yeah, oh god, yeah. I'd imagine it'd go to about 8,000, 10,000 feet, you know?
Yeah, and the plane was flying at 20 to 30,000 feet, so you'd see this below you in the valleys. And look how sharp peaked that one is here. You can see that poking through a cloud layer just above there, right? So I think it's just a mountain that they're seeing through a cloud. And of course you can see it's black rocks, right? So I think that one's solved. Of course he's got 17 minutes here, so you can put like 4 ads on it probably. Penguin balloons, oh yeah, that was the last one. So let's just carry on. And of course he compares it to MBB, Mr. MBB, which we sort of debunked before, where he does a lot of crazy filters and turns a cloud into these dark ridges and claiming that's a triangle craft that's cloaked, right? But it's just like when you use the filters, if you do it wrongly, you can actually create artifacts in the image where there was actually no straight lines. So we carry on. I think he's got the full video at the end. He just repeats it over and over again. And this one here, of the satellite footage, is the next one.
Up to where you can only see these things out of a commercial jet or something of that nature. And so here is the first clip that I want to show you that came from a Secureteam video I posted back in 2006.
Okay, so we've debunked this one before.
Other states here.
Yeah.
And we were monitoring the cloud cover when all of the sudden.
So what he's done is he's looking through old episodes to pad out this one, right? To say it's similar to that thing at the front, yeah, the Swiss Alps. So he talks about an object that's moving
this object
so fast,
came
right?
blasting up
But you can see
through
straight
the
away
upper
it's time
atmosphere.
lapsed.
And at one point you can see a second object coming up fast behind it and connecting with it before it continues on and disappears, heading towards space, likely. And so go ahead and check this video out. I'll let it play for a minute, but just through the clouds in a direction that
Okay,
looks
so
to be almost like it's coming
this
from
object
the coast
here,
of
which
California,
looks very much
heading
like
up through the clouds.
compression artifact from processing of the image from the satellite and sending it down to Earth.
Yes.
And I think we debunked this one. I think it was Hoax Eye. He's found footage from the day before and day after, and this object was apparent in the same location at different times. And it just moved between those two locations all the time. So it was like a glitch that kept happening. As you know, you get cosmic radiation and you get corruption of data that's sent down. So it's not actually a craft, and I actually did put that through some filters as well. Whereabouts was it? Right, talking about the cloud one again. Here's an old case where it was actually chimneys, right? And they said it was a black man standing above the clouds, which is actually just two chimneys from a power plant, from a coal power plant or nuclear power plant in Belgium, and it just makes these characters.
Oh my God, it looks so familiar. We had a company here that was running up until about 10 years ago called Rio Tinto, an American-based company, I believe.
Yeah.
But they had the, their little backdoor empire everywhere around the world, and Middle East as well, and whatever. But yeah, that image looks so similar.
Yeah.
With a big, must have been, I don't know, 400, 500 foot chimney.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was spewing out crap from that. It was an aluminium producing factory basically, and it was spewing out crap, and it looked just like that.
Okay, so these are some enhancement of the thing moving around on the satellite imagery, and you can see here it almost looks like a cloud that sort of was changing shape, and it was because it's time lapsed. It was like tracking this cloud, which looks like it got some corruption. You can see it's got this box around it here, so it looks like it's lost some of the what you call the color information. So this is probably part of the cloud here. It should be white as well. And it's just moving around the sky because, as you expect it to be, constantly gliding across the sky in this roughly the same location, and that's why it suddenly disappears, because, as you know, clouds break up, the water moisture breaks down and then it disappears. So it's not on the next slide of the image. If I go back to it, that's another frame of it. When it's further on, you can see here that it's definitely a cloud that's sort of changed shape. And again, it looks like maybe some computer corruption happening there, where it sort of lost the color information of this bit here. But as you can see here, there are some darker clouds, so I think it's just like a compression error. And you can see here the square block that's happening, and of course that moves from there to there and disappears here, which is typical of what clouds do. So yeah, that one's sort of debunked as well.
Yeah.
Let's see, what was the last one? That was the MBB, and I think that's probably much it for the tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I'm pretty much done for tonight. But it was a good live. We did cover quite a lot of topics. So this is Mr. MBB. Yeah. He's another hoaxer. You might remember that soccer goalpost one that he put out saying it was a mothership. You could clearly see it was in a field. And you could see the horizon where the lights of the houses were, and you could see the same similar cloud formations. Well, here he's mucked around and he's saying here is a Imperial cruiser above. And of course you can get that all the time. You just have to type in triangle clouds into here, and you'll get lots of ones, especially on UFO channels, claiming it's cloaked TR3B. Triangle clouds. But they're just natural formations. Crosswinds and stuff forms them, depending on mountain peaks as well, how it comes off mountain ranges. I guess that's some of them here. Strange cloud, right? Is it a
well, no, it's not that strange. You know, you see some strange things in thunderstorms.
Another one that looks like it's cloaked, but you can see here it looks like plane contrails have gone back and forth during the day, and it's formed this wide straight line. And of course you've got another contrail going this way, because it's going to form triangle patterns in the sky, right? It's like seeing things in clouds again, right? Just see if there's any other ones here that looks like it might be
Pascagoula, that's the word for it.
Yeah, there's another one. You can see the clouds. Yeah, people just see all sorts of things here. What's that one?
If they want.
Yeah, that one looks like a butterfly or something flying away. You can see the
that's just quite simply cirrus cloud, yeah. But there's a triangle sorts, yeah.
Yeah, here's the one with a triangle in the clouds as well. Look at that one. Oh, big mothership. In fact, that might be the one that MBB used. I don't know.
I'm sure it would have made a cleaner cut than that. That's a bit messy, that one.
Yeah. But clouds are clouds, and of course you got contrails that sort of adds the streaks into it, and you also got the square clouds. Oh, look at this one here. Look.
That's that one.
And they do make some funny shapes occasionally. And then you got the UFO clouds, and these ones are actually real pictures, I think.
Yeah, I think they're called lenticular.
Yep. And you can see
that's been enhanced, that.
Yeah, that one's been played around with the colours to bring it out a bit more.
Yeah, lenticular cloud. It's quite rare, but it happens.
So if you want to watch Mr. MB and show you different clouds with different filters, go and watch his channel. But he's obviously making lots of money. He's got a link here probably to his channel to help him out, right? Oh, there you go, Mr. MBB. Hoaxes always work together, right? So just go to that one. I bet it doesn't go to the video. I bet it goes to his main page. Oh, here we go. It goes to his video page, right? It doesn't go to the one in question, which is dishonest. But you can see this guy likes his clouds, right? There's one with a hole in it. You know, this guy's just useless. So how many subs has he got? 363k. These people are crazy.
Yeah. They're back at the moon.
That's just stupid, isn't it? Okay, you never aim the camera at the sun because you're going to get artifacts. I don't know what he's talking about there, but obviously you're going to get ripple clouds. Yep.
Well, it's going to make a mess of the sensor of your camera. Yeah, and it's going to make a mess of your eyes if you look directly at it. You know, it's common damn sense in it.
Yeah. And of course, they're playing the chemtrail angle as well. And microwaves. And they're talking about HARP, obviously. But yeah, how much did he make on that one, on that video? Let's see. Not many views, not like Secureteam. 8,000 on this stupid video, and that's probably what, only 2 minutes, so he probably only got one ad on that. So he would have only made, let's see, maybe a couple bucks off that video. why put it up at all? So what else has he got here? 12k, 57k, 44k, possible Gulf tropical storm. What else we got? Eclipse shadows. Strange sounds. But he's got a lot of drone UFO footage up as well, which we have debunked that Tyler's has used. He seems to like his cloud weather thing, so he's like a chemtrail conspiracy channel, isn't he? So let's go to the About tab. What's he say? We are living in unique, changing times, and during these times I've become more than intrigued by these changes. Referring to Earth changes in our sun, atmosphere, blah blah blah, mechanics of it. So, obviously he's got a lot of links. Patreon, how many support him? What's that, Patreon? Okay, he's got 213, but does he hide how much money it is? Oh yes he does. Surprise, surprise. So we don't know how much he's earning there, but it could quite easily be at least 200 from $1 monthly ones all the way up to possibly, if people were paying $30 each, up to $6,000, right? So yeah, probably wrap it up there, guys, and catch you maybe Saturday evening when we do our Sunday live here in New Zealand. And thanks for joining us, Robert, today. That was quite different than usual.
Yeah, thank you, Paul.
No problem.
Yeah, maybe we can bring a little bit up on the Pascagoula incident, maybe in more detail.
Yeah, you can look up those school ones if you want to find some information, and we can do that.
And that as well.
We can do that Sunday,
absolutely,
if you want. So people can come on and talk about their experiences as well if they want to. But we can talk about those on Sunday or Saturday if you're in America. But that might be too late for you. That would be like 3 in the morning. So that's like.
I can do that, Paul.
Well, we could do it another time. It doesn't really matter. We could do it like we've done today, you know, Friday or whatever, or Saturday. Whenever I feel right, because I haven't been feeling too well this week. So anyway, I'm just going to wind down now, guys. Please like and share, and thanks for the likes there, guys, and thanks for watching and commenting and all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to cue my end credits now and say goodnight. It should be playing. Looks like it's going. That's the New Zealand flag. Yep, see you later, guys, on the side chat. Take care as well on the roads.
Thanks, guys.
Hopefully the volume levels are okay. Sometimes it's a bit too loud with the mics.